So what I was able to do was contribute to keeping that narrative throughout the whole of the BLM movement. A lot of people assume that I was with the organisation Black Lives Matter UK. For me, I was just Imarn Ayton, unapologetically me, passionate. I didn't realise that there was two very clear ideologies within this movement, which is abolitionists and reformists. So I represented the reformists. I thought we should be focused on that as opposed to talking about abolish the police. And that offended a few people, but ultimately we all want the same thing. We have the one single objective, which is equality for Black people. What truly needs to change is our collective understanding of racism and all of its forms, because it's about having conversations that we usually feel quite uncomfortable to have. Of course, we are going through a pandemic, and the last thing we want is for people to suffer due to those decisions of coming together. And the reality is, racism is a virus that has killed many more people than COVID. So it is time to stand up. And so I made that decision, and so did many other people. I found my voice, and I was able to inspire others to do the same. And that was the most important thing for me.
Talking about politics coming from a view of the streets, you know what I'm saying, dog? We're not coming from professional view. We're not lawyers, none of that shit that's on TV, you know what I'm saying? We come straight from the hood, the hood view, you know? Representation of Black people, period, on the bench, because we don't know who Clarence Thomas is representing. He's sitting on the Supreme Court, sitting on a bench, smelling like cocoa butter.
Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5. We live.
Yes, we is.
Welcome to Hoodviewpolitics, where we go into a deep, detailed dive into politics from a hood point of view.
Something like that.
I'm Rabbit Jones.
And I'm Tony, the #1 soul brother. And welcome to a special edition, special edition of Hoodview Politics. We got somebody on here tonight that y'all really need to listen to and need to hear. So why not just go ahead and get in on it?
You know what I'm saying?
Get on it.
It's something like that, you know? If you're new here, you don't know what to expect. But you've been here before, appreciate you a whole lot, and you know what's going on. We MAGA hunting and coon hunting. You know what I'm saying?
Something like
that's what we do. Now, today is more special than, like my man just said, it gets more special than this. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? We have a likewise, we reaching across the pond this time. You know what I'm saying? To see how the Black man and the women live across the pond. Mind to mind meets. You know what I'm saying? And see what's the difference here. You know? Is it a difference? You know? Black Lives Matter for sure. Everybody know for a fact that was a huge point in our country. You know what I'm saying, dog? And the world. You know? It was a trigger point that changed a lot of things. You know? So I think this right here is going to be way more special than I thought. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is bring in someone that represents the Black Lives Matter movement. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to show you a taste of things that
Right. No, I think I'm perfect in the background. But it's fun to I tell you what we like to do on this channel is listen to other people and then try and absorb their
Okay,
bias.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave now because I'm not going to let you speak on behalf of the whole entire channel.
please
I've
do
been
leave.
doing.
Please
Yeah,
do
I'm
leave.
going to.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
worry about that.
We won't
It's a
stop
shame
you.
that it couldn't have finished a bit more
Isn't
cordial.
it?
It is, but it's clear where your alliances lie.
Oh,
Thank you very much, Anne and Stephen. That was great.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Well,
You won't be back, I can tell you that.
unfortunately your mic is off. Right.
King to apologise. He doesn't have that power. He would have to be told to apologise by the government. Because it's an institution of state.
Do I have to? All right.
he's talked about sorry.
Excuse me. Time out.
Actively apologised.
Time out.
In terms of slavery, hold on a second. You keep talking about slavery. Let's just be clear about slavery. Yes, you did end slavery. You've made that point and you've made that point, so let me address it. You did end slavery, and there was a clause in the contract that said, for example, that Jamaicans had to work up to 45 hours a week for the following 4 years, whilst you simultaneously paid off the slave owners and left the enslaved in their countries to rot. And then you transitioned to colonialism, where slavery still continued, and then you transitioned to the Commonwealth,
I agree.
where you continue to assert your dominance, exploit black people, and do it in a far
I
dignified way.
agree, Imarn. I agree.
I think English people are very quick to separate ourselves from America in regards to the history of colonialism and racism. And secondly, we tend to put racism into a homogenous box, and we don't tend to deal with the actual details. And in actual fact, racism is 3 distinct forms: institutionalized racism, overt racism, and covert racism. As a society, we focus on overt racism, and therefore we separate ourselves from America because America tends to exhibit the most forms of overt racism. But that does not negate the fact that racism is very much prevalent in this society. So I think it's really important to understand that we are all in this together. There is no separation in regards to racism.
What I'm thinking.
No, exactly. That's
right?
what you do to me.
Or what my opinion
and that's what
is.
people like you do to me.
People like
and
me?
Yes,
What do you mean people like me?
Prejudice, racially prejudiced people like yourself. That's what you do. That's why we need safe spaces.
You're calling me racially prejudiced?
I've done that several times, Fizz. Why are you surprised?
Why are you saying that?
Ignorance doesn't actually suit you.
That's ignorant, actually, what you just said.
I've just told you
I'm
that
not
several
racially
times.
prejudiced.
Okay,
And what you just said is very offensive. And you shouldn't be saying that.
Piers, what's prejudice?
Huh?
What's prejudice?
If you're racially prejudiced, you are a racist.
What's prejudice?
That's what you just called me.
You've been learning.
I'm not accepting that, sorry.
What's prejudice?
Esther, will you go and watch this?
Swiftly move on.
No, I don't think you should be calling me a racist.
Swiftly move
It's ridiculous.
on. I've done it several times, and you have a problem.
Then you're wrong
with the
every
third
time.
I did it last year. You're talking about it
good for
today
you.
as if it's a new surprise. It's not. I told you last year you were racially prejudiced, and I'm telling you again today.
lazy
and yet
thing
you
to
have
say.
an argument.
It's a
That's
lazy
your
thing to
argument.
say.
Lazy thing to say. Well done.
Because I'm not
You're doing
racially
well.
prejudiced. Never
You're doing
have
well.
been.
What's racial prejudice, Piers?
It's being a
Answer the
racist.
question. Answer the question.
It's judging
And that's
people
what you do.
prejudicially
That's what you
on
do.
their skin colour.
That's what you
Actually,
do.
rather
That
like what
is
this...
what you-
Welcome to the podcast pit, Miss Ayton. Appreciate you a whole lot for coming past the podcast, Hoodview Politics. You know what I'm saying, dog? How you been today? Everything good? Oh, shit. Now, what I want, go ahead. I want the audience to get to know you.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to do is it's echo. You turn your volume down on one of y'all. So what I want to do is let my audience know who you are, not just with the video I just showed, but who you are as a person. Like, I'm real curious to what began your story. You know what I'm saying? What was on your mind as a teenager? What you wanted to be? Was it an activist, or did you want to be in the government? You know what I'm saying? What was it in your life that you wanted to be? Was it that you're doing now as an activist, or you had other plans?
Oh, I had other plans. And the universe has plans for you, and sometimes they are aligned, sometimes they're not, and sometimes you just have to go on a journey to discover what's accurate. So I always knew that I wanted to inspire. That was the thing. Sorry, I've got my cat. That was the thing that I knew I wanted to do, knew that I instinctively was going to do. And when you're a teenager, growing up in England, in the West is the salient point here. Growing up in the West as a teenager, you're taught that the main things that you should be striving for is money, status, fame, depending on your personality type. So if you're an extrovert, then naturally you should go for fame. If you're an introvert, then you should go for some type of status. Either way, it's about feeding your ego with the food that the West provides, which is lots of conceited energy, lots of egotist energy, and everything to do with capitalism. So moral of the tale is I wanted to inspire. The only job that I thought I could do living in the West in regards to inspiring was be famous. thought I could sing when I was like 13 and quickly realized that was just not the case. So I thought, okay, I loved Beyonce and Kelly Rowland and Michelle, Destiny's Child. That was like my thing. Black
So you
representation
wanted
growing up, right?
You wanted to sing?
Yeah. Oh, I loved Destiny's Child. That was the group that made me connect with, one, my blackness, two, the talent that Black people have. And they were just a perfect representation of beautiful Black women. So growing up, when I would listen to Destiny's Child, whether it be Survivor or Bills, this was back in the day when it was the original awesome. I was just so empowered, so inspired. And I remember thinking, right, empowered, inspired, therefore Black people. Okay, maybe singing is the thing that I can do in the West to inspire. So at 13, I thought I could sing. Clearly, that was not the case. I tried. I auditioned in school. Never did quite get anywhere with that. So yeah, that I kind of had to burst my own bubble at like 14 when I quickly realized the route for inspiring wasn't going to be via singing. Then I delved into acting. And that's when I really started to kind of find myself in terms of what I truly enjoyed, not what was kind of centered around what I should be or what is expected of me. And so I started acting in secondary school and I loved it. It was my favorite subject. You know, when you cannot stand going, or some people can relate, I couldn't stand school, didn't like sitting there in class, found the classes utterly boring. Didn't particularly think I was that bright or smart or intelligent, so I just felt out of place. And I couldn't concentrate because I was just so bored. So I hated school. And the only class that I found myself, or classes I found myself interested in, was music and theatre. So theatre was probably in school the topic or the subject that allowed me to kind of delve into the type of person I wanted to be and the aspirations that I wished for. So moral of the tale, just to give you that context, wanted to be an actor.
Let me hold you right there. England is different from America, right?
Yes.
So you coming up at the age you just described to us, give us the level of discrimination, racism. Are you seeing, are you experiencing, or are you even aware of it?
Okay, so I will circle back to that original point because it started and ended with me telling you about being an actor or wanting to be an actor. That very much connects to how I became an activist for the Black Lives Matter protests. So I will circle back to that. So we'll park that for a second. To answer your question, what's interesting about this country is the first thing that needs to be taken into consideration is that Britain prides themselves on politeness. That is the biggest thing about this country in terms of social etiquette, how we flex, how we connect, how we talk, how we're meeting and connecting with other people out on the road, in shops. It's all about politeness. That is the currency in this country, as in you can get status if you're really polite. If you're a man and you open the door as a woman is coming through, you get a lot of status. It's a nice ego boost. And you know that you've done your part as a British man. If you're a woman and you say please and thank you sir, these are all things that give us currency, give us status, and basically are the foundation of British etiquette and social norms. So when it pertains to discrimination and racism, it's all about doing it but being polite, because these individuals are still white. So they're the same white people that you have in America, from like the South to wherever else. Same individuals, but it's all about etiquette. It's all about being dignified. That's the word, dignified with your racism. So in other words, instead of it being obvious, you coon, you nigger, you I hope I can swear. Can I swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, thank you. Coon, nigger, etc., etc. We don't have the burning of crosses on our lawns. One, because we don't have lawns, and two, it's just not a thing here. That was very much to do with the KKK in America. Our equivalent would just be, yo, nigger.
Yeah.
That isn't that typical in London because it's the most multicultural part of, or most diverse part of England, the capital, London. So that's not that typical. In the outskirts of England, where it's predominantly white, we're talking 90% white, if you were a black person to go into those types of areas, you may find that certain environments are quite hostile. And you may find yourself, again, because racism is situation dependent, if you offend someone, then you might come across overt forms of racism, which are not dissimilar to what you would probably, I'm guessing, experience in America. With certain,
let's get into that.
Whereas
right
here
now.
it's just subtle. So in London, subtle. In the outskirts of England, not so subtle. And that's the connection between England, overt and covert racism. Obvious,
Right there.
but subtle.
I want you to, before I let my man go on, I want you to explain the difference what you just said between covert and overt racism.
Please, yeah, no problem. So just to be clear, racism is really, I find it really annoying because people don't simplify it. So racism is simply prejudice about race. Racial prejudice. Prejudice is a preconceived opinion. Now, that is a cognitive process that we can't ignore. It happens in our brains. It allows us to understand, rationalize and respond to the world around us, right? So if you have a preconceived opinion about something, you can be better prepared, and therefore you adjust your thoughts, your feelings, and then your behavior manifests as a result. So that's a preconceived opinion. Every human being has it. It's called social categorizing. It's an actual cognitive process of our brain. So prejudice, the cognitive process of our brain, can apply to all different aspects of human characteristics. So you can have prejudice towards women, you can have prejudice towards gays, you can have prejudice towards trans, you can have preconceived opinions, right? And preconceived opinions about race is called racism. Now, what people don't break down is the fact that racism comes in three distinct forms. So we have overt, which is obvious forms of prejudice. So, for example, in America, burning crosses on people's lawns, calling you a nigger, or a monkey, a black monkey, right? These are obvious forms of racial prejudice, as in, because your skin color is this type of way, I believe that you are 1, 2, 3, and 4, if that makes any sense. So you have a preconceived opinion based off of the skin color of the individual that you're speaking to. And that's obvious. Then you have covert. Now, covert is subtle, and that's where I talk about England in terms of a dignified way of being racist. Very subtle, quite polite, microaggressions, undertoned. You have to really be quite astute and listening to really pick up on what's happening here. That's covert racism. So subtle prejudice. For example, oh, you're really attractive for a black girl. That would be an example. That's one that I've experienced a few times, and many other black girls in England. That's an example of covert racism. So racial prejudice, that is subtle. So meaning, oh, you're black. I didn't think black people were attractive.
True.
But you are. So it's like a kind of double sides, two sides of the coin, which is the compliment versus the racism. So that's what we have here, a dignified way of being racist. And then we have institutionalized, which both America here and every country around the world, including Africa, that's a whole nother conversation, has to contend with institutionalized racism. Put simply, it basically means processes, procedures, and practices within an institution that disadvantages and discriminates against the Black community. And that results in disparities such as in this country, Black men are 7 times more likely to be stopped and searched. Black women are 4 times more likely to die during childbirth. Black men, adults are 5 times more likely to have force used against them when having to associate with the police. So that would be an example of institutionalized racism, where policies, practices, and procedures based off of racial prejudice, the individuals that work and basically implement these practices and procedures. They have prejudice. It then manifests into the policies, practice, and procedures, and that leads to a disadvantage and discrimination for Black people. And that happens all around the world, and that stems in terms of slavery, colonialism, and then now throughout the world. And of course, we have it via the Commonwealth. So that's the three distinct forms of racism: overt, which is obvious racial prejudice; covert, which is subtle racial prejudice; and institutionalized, which is an institution that is prejudice because of all the people in there having racial prejudice, and that manifests in policies, practices, and procedures, disadvantaging us all. I hope I've explained that well enough.
Oh yeah,
Okay, good.
most definitely.
Well, you just answered my first question before I asked it. No, because I always heard that over in the UK that the racial climate it was more different. It was different than over here in the US, and it was over in the UK. It was more the people are more tolerant. They say, and I was always wondering, was that true?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And what you say about covert racism? Well, covert racism it always leads to institutional racism.
It is the thing that fuels it. You cannot have one without the other.
You can't have one without the other.
And in your country, that is a fact, because remember, we still have to work with etiquette. Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but that's spot on. It's exactly that. What people fail to realize is that you cannot have, or I'll put it this way, it is covert racism, subtle racial prejudice within an individual that drives and fuels institutionalized racism. You don't just kind of start being a racist in your house when you're by yourself and then it stops when you go to work. It continues. And I think people don't use their common sense and think about that logically. If you are racist, you hold racially prejudiced views, that manifests in every aspect of your life, in every environment. And then depending, again, because racism is situation dependent, depending on the situation, it can be subtle, it can be overt, it can be non-existent. So, for example, if you have a Black friend, this is why you hear the line, well, I have a Black friend that's possibly racist, because people don't realize that racism is situation dependent. So it applies for you as the individual when you're by yourself. It applies when you are with your friends. If your friend says something good, you're not a racist. If your Black friend says something good, you're not a racist. If they piss you off one day, you might find yourself in a really heated argument and you accidentally call them a nigger, and you can't quite understand as a white person why on earth you did that, because you thought she wasn't racist. Why? Because racism is situation dependent. So it manifests by yourself, with your friends, depending on if they piss you off, and at work, depending on status, ego, pride, etc., etc. So it's all the same thing. I think America just has it more in an obvious way, as in they just don't give a fuck. You lot saw the slavery, it's there. You saw the plantations, that shit was there. So you lot are that sense of ego, as in, you motherfuckers, like how many years ago were on the plantation? That sense of superiority is real strong because you saw it. Whereas England, we were really polite, you see. We didn't want to see Black people in chains because that's not our style. We're very dignified. So we just allowed you guys in America to do it, whilst we walked around in top hats and were really polite, drinking tea and the sugar from the plantations. So it's everywhere. It's the same thing. Three distinct forms: overt, covert, and institutionalized. And this isn't just about England or America. It is everywhere, including in Africa. And that has a lot to do with colonialism and, of course, colorism, internalized racism. And that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I want to know is, like, over here when you talk about institutional racism, we know over here that it permeates everything from the justice system, business, hiring, housing, everything. It's not an aspect of life in this country that isn't affected by institutionalized institutionalized racism.
Yeah.
Is it the same way or is it different in the UK?
No, it's the exact same, down to a T, from every institution that you can think of. So
Really?
we can start with the Church of England. Church of England, a lot of people. Say it again, sorry?
Yeah, a lot of questions about the king and queen stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So we can start. All right. So where should we start? We'll begin with, yeah, we can talk about the monarchy.
Harry and Meghan's black baby.
Oh my God.
Say it again. Sorry.
The black baby.
Harry and Meghan's black baby.
Just a sprinkle of black was too much for them. Just a little sprinkle, too much.
Wait. Okay. Wait. All right. Sorry.
How black he's gonna be? Medium black? How black is he gonna be?
Don't make me laugh right now. I've got a loud laugh. Don't make me laugh. Right. I've got a very loud laugh. That's a really, in fact, you know what? Right. So we're going to start on the monarchy. So to answer your question, sir, perfect question. Love the fact that you've asked that question. Racism, institutionalized racism, permeates every single institution in England. Now I can back that up, but we'll start with the monarchy. So we'll discuss the monarchy. So first, I'm curious, what were you lot's thoughts when you saw the article about, in fact, because you lot would have had the Oprah windfall, like as in you probably didn't even, we saw articles about Oprah, but obviously you would have seen the Oprah interview. So what was, just so I have some context in terms of what was going on in America, how did you lot feel about when you saw Meghan, who's your people, Harry, who's our people, and you ain't seen Harry in the way that you did during the Oprah interview in terms of advocating or talking about racism? What were the thoughts? And then I would love to kind of delve into or go back and forth on that. So yeah, whoever wants to go in.
Well, I was kind of shocked because, like I say, what we hear over here is different from what you're telling us, and you're
Yeah.
like we hear like over in England and UK, it's a different racial climate over there. There is different. They're more tolerant, and black people can spread their wings and fly.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That's what we hear. But then we hear that Meghan, who's part black, and we hear the things that that came out their mouth about the baby's skin tone. I'm like, oh,
is it gonna be high yellow or black?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
You got some blue eyes.
This ain't adding up to what's been put out about these people. So it kind of threw me off for a minute, and I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, first of all, what you tripping off anyway? Because Meghan looks white anyway.
Thank you very much.
And
excellent point to be made.
Right, and he's and Harry's one shade lighter than ash. So
very white. We call it very.
Yes, indeed.
He's pale. He's pale.
Of white in terms of just everything that he represents as well. That's the irony. So even if
let me ask you,
you're accurate on the shade, but let's add another layer, which is what he represents. He represents the epitome of white supremacy in this country.
Right there. Let me ask you this. To me, from the outside looking in, the whole thing looks funny, right? Like the king thing to the side, the queen thing, they to the side, they royalty type stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like that right there alone just odd, right? Yeah. So to that right there seems more racist than anything, where you gotta worship somebody that's beside the government, that's not even in the government, this
hierarchy
person just because they was born somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you gotta worship that person some kind of way, and they gotta say so a little bit in how your country go. You know what I'm saying? So what if this is what I want to ask you? What if it run out? What if people stop having kids? What will happen if there's no more people in the family? What will happen then?
You know what? It's interesting you said that, because I know that, and a lot of people think it's what I'm about to say is kind of connected to conspiracy theories, but factually, it's actually accurate. So Europeans or white people have a really low birth rate, and so Based off of statistics, forgive me, I don't have the exact accurate statistics, but I can tell you the rough ballpark, which is by 2050, there'll be a larger percentage of Black and brown people in America.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
there'll
yeah,
be
oh
a
yeah.
larger percentage of Black
Oh,
and
yeah.
brown people in England. So much so that it will tip the scales, more so for America. So as far as I'm aware, someone can Google this, but as far as I'm aware, by 2050, there will be more Black and brown people in
Yeah.
America than there will be
Definitely
white
got
people,
to
which
do
is
that.
unheard of. That's never happened in history, right? So this is a whole new phenomenon. And then it's actually the same in England and Europe. Reason why is because it's actually factual. It's not a conspiracy theory. White people have low birth rates in comparison to Black people. And that's just based off of evidence. That's not me and my random talkings, right? This is based off of factual evidence. And that seems to be the kind of phenomenon across Europe and the West. And so you're right to ask about what happens when people just stop having babies. Well, that information is already kind of filtered through to anyone that's concentrating and astute and clocking on to geopolitics and the dynamics of the world. And most of those people are white. So I'll be honest, it's not Black people that are thinking about white people's birth rates. It's white people. And that connects to survival instincts. That connects to, again, another cognitive process of the amygdala, which processes fear. So when you have, I'm white and I can't produce, or our people aren't producing that much, that naturally will fuel the cognitive process of fear. And that fear, again, from the amygdala in your brain, will naturally lead to preconceived opinions about other people, and it will help to kind of make you feel better about the dynamic in which you're having to contend with. So in other words, I'm white. I know my white people aren't producing as much white people as Black people. So therefore, if I lead with more racism, it will probably make me feel better about myself. That's it. So it's like another way of fueling your own. Again, racism is situation dependent. So even those that weren't racist before, if they have a conscious idea of the fact that white people have lower birth rates than Black, if they have a conscious thought of that, that will lead to racism, again, being situation dependent in a way that they probably may not be used to. And if they are subconsciously aware of the fact that they are white and birth rates are low, that could in and of itself manifest into racial prejudice and racial discrimination towards Black people because of that fear of being annihilated, and your survival, again connecting to your survival instincts as a human being and your fear as a result of your amygdala. It would connect to those things, and then you find yourself being a racist even though you didn't think you was. So there is low birth rates and it's happening, and this is what's fueling racism. That's the moral of the tale.
That's why I really respect you when you be going on these platforms, because it's no back down. Like, to me, I wish we had a Black Lives Matter, a person like you in America.
Oh, compliment. Thank you very much.
Because
that's
to me,
I'm very shocked at that. I'll be
that's
honest.
what's missing.
Like,
because somebody like you is missing. To be honest with you, somebody.
How? Can I just add one thing? We have 65 million people in England. That is the equivalent of all the Black people that you have in America. It's somewhere around that ballpark. So let's just bear that in mind. So Black people represent 3% of England. Then you combine that with Asian and mixed race. I think it goes to about, Asian and mixed race and Black, it goes to about 14%. But Black African and Black Caribbean is 3%. So we are a very tiny minority. So I can appreciate why I have a role to play in England, because there's not much going on here. But when I think about America, and I think about the fact that our population, our entire population, is the Black population in America, my natural thought after hearing such a lovely compliment, thank you again, is how is that even possible? You are drowning in Black people. How on earth could you tell me that you need someone like me in your country? You have more Black people. Don't ever tell me that again.
Once you was born here in DC. If you was born here in DC, we'd be married and fight coons together. You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to explain a little bit to that stat to you.
Go ahead.
It's like, all right, then this is going to lead into my next question.
Okay.
one thing about Black people in this country, in certain aspects, in certain parts, it's no unity.
Yeah.
And you have certain segments out for what they're out for. You got other segments that's what they're for. But there's no unity.
Yeah.
And what I wanted, and this was another thing I wanted to get your opinion on, because and it's something that's getting under my skin right now too, that we have in this country a lot of Black celebrities.
Mm.
We had a lot of Black celebrities that are using their influence with the Black community to push agendas that's good for them, but it's not good for the Black community as a whole.
Yeah.
Because we have people like
they all dance. Stephen A. The whole thing. They got the whole list down the bottom.
Your Sexy Red, your oh my God, we just got so many. Your Ice Cubes.
Like, got some new ones that got put on there, but
that we got a lot of them that when they entered into another tax bracket, a high tax bracket, it wasn't about pushing agendas that serve the masses or serve the majority of where Black people are. It was, we're gonna basically covertly push this agenda because we don't want to pay high taxes, but them high taxes that you pay go to help the programs that help your people.
Yeah.
And I want to know, where do you stand on that?
Is that a problem in the UK?
Yeah, that too.
It is. Tony, I'm so sorry, gents. I do apologize for being so annoying. My cat is just going crazy. I'm sure you can hear it in the background. Can I just put him away for a second? He's just going to annoy us.
I know. I used to have 2 cats. They used to drive me crazy.
You're making a good point too. I don't know what's you hear echo?
Hey, a little one.
But yeah, but all that is good points what you were saying. But my whole thing is I'm trying to get a feel for, like you was doing, you getting a feel for the atmosphere over there compared to here. You know what I'm saying? It's like as a Black people. And to me, my problem is we don't have anybody like this, right? That, like we showed you in some of these clips, like she making these people, the white people that stand on these motherfucking these sets, like the Piers Morgans, right? She is literally making them so uncomfortable. And then they literally are being racist without really knowing it, talking to her. You feel me? On live air. You know what I'm saying? It's like she pulled a racism out of him. Like the old lady was like, well, you ain't come back here no more. You ain't see that shit?
That's because
like, what the fuck?
That's because some people give them a pass, and they think like they'll have some people come on their platform on their show or whatever, and they'll say slick shit and get a pass on it, and they think everybody give them a pass, but everybody not gonna give you no pass. And then when somebody call you on your bullshit, then the first thing they want to say, oh, you saying I'm a racist. It's like, I tell you what it's like. Remember, it was back in, I guess it was the 90s when Ja Rule and J-Lo had that song together, I'm Real.
Oh yeah.
And J-Lo used the word nigga in the song. So I tell them niggas no, but they don't feel me no, or something like that. And everybody got upset about J-Lo using the N-word in that song. And my point was, because I was like, how the fuck she gonna use that word? Just because Ja Rule gave her a pass and said it was okay, Ja Rule don't speak for everybody. That's how I felt about it. Ja Rule don't speak for me. No, it ain't good for you to use it, to come off like that. And the Piers Morgans and
oh my God,
such and such in the world that's out there, they got their own Ja
rules.
Yeah, they got their own Ja rules that say it's okay for you to say this or for you to come out like this. Oh, yeah. And then when the rest of us say hell no,
Yeah. That's
Then
another thing.
The first thing, oh, you being racist. No, because that person don't speak for me. You can get on there, and I don't give a fuck who you got on there. They don't speak for me. I speak for me.
That's what I want to ask you too. When you be on some of these shows, when they bring another black person on, oh my God, they be the worst, bro. I be wanting to put them on this list, but I don't be know who they are.
Yeah.
They be side by side with her, and they literally be saying whatever Piers Morgan want to be said, you know, all that. The same way we be having a problem with them saying the shit that Trump want to say. You feel me?
Right.
And I'll be looking at her on these platforms with Piers Morgan and all these people, and they literally being racist to her. At the moment they in the conversation, they don't even know it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
They know it.
No, I swear to God, they don't know they being racist, bro. When they be like, when she say we wear cornrows and they not French braids like that, and a man jump up and say, but that's just hairstyle. He don't get it. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, they do. No,
It's over
they
their
do.
head, and they still
do.
don't understand that they being racist at the moment.
They
feel me?
do.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I'm with you.
No, I'm talking about you. I think you understand what I'm saying. You be in those moments with them, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Go ahead.
They actually do. So it connects to your original point in terms of unity and this coonage that we keep seeing that you see in America. That was your original question before I took my cat away. Thank you. And it connects back to this in terms of the people that I have to contend with when I do these shows.
Yes.
It's the same subject, same topic. Firstly, I'll say that let's just focus on agenda first and foremost, because, okay, in fact, I'll break it down in another way. First step is to always remember that instinctively, it's always about survival for every human being. That's the first thing, right? So that's just everything that I say moving forward. Just please remember the first step, the first thought, the first feeling, the first instinctive behavior is always centered around survival. Amygdala, connected to your brain, a cognitive process. You can't avoid it. It's the control system for your emotions, such as fear, happiness, etc., etc. We had it, if we think about from a kind of anthropological perspective. So, thousands and thousands of years ago, man needed to survive, woman needed to survive. So we have these instincts. First instinct is survival. So please remember that as we move forward. So, in terms of all of these coonage people, this coonage vibe that all of us have to contend with. Oh, wow. Okay, so firstly, they are trying to survive. We live in the West, so that is centered around capitalism. Money, status. Money, status. Money, status. Oh, and then power. So let's just remember money, status, power. That's the West. That's the West. It's not necessarily the case in Asia. It's not necessarily the case in Africa. Sometimes it is. But in the West, our currency, always remember that, the West, because remember, we're together in this, England and America. Fact. It's not separate. West. Just call it West. The currency, you always have to remember. Capitalism is key. We know this for a fact. And this is what leads to this survival instinct of I have to do whatever I have to do to survive. And this is why we find ourselves in this position of dealing with coons on national TV as Black people, because the human instinct is to survive. And so you have some people that their survival is very much linked to their status, like I said, and their status is connected to their career. So if your career is to climb a certain ladder, enter certain spaces, get a certain job. So maybe let's just say, okay, I'm going to try to simplify it, and please, gentlemen, cut me off if I go off on many tangents. I'll find my way back, but just feel free to cut me at any point. But in terms of the climbing of the ladder, which is the typical thing that every human being needs to do in order to survive, you need money in order to eat and drink and sustain your body. So it's just instincts. You have to survive. That connects to money. We live in the West. That is all to do with capitalism. Capitalism is centered around ego and status and power, right? So when you have those things in mind, you end up finding yourself in a position where you can take two options. And this is just genuinely me trying to be as neutral as possible. Two options. You can go through the option of I forgo. So I sacrifice. That's the word. I sacrifice status. Sacrifice. And remember, status comes. How do we get status? We get status from influence. We get status from power. So status, power, and influence are all the same thing. Just stay with me, gents. So in terms of what people want, they want status. That option allows them to grow and climb the ladder. In order to climb the ladder, you have to follow the rules. The obvious rules and the unspoken rules, right? So the conscious rules and the subconscious rules. So that's one option. Okay, so again, I know I go on many tangents. I'm just going to simplify it for you. Say it again. The West is about capitalism. Every human being needs to survive. Food, water. That comes with needing money, which is capitalism. So in order to do that, most people will have a career plan and try to climb the ladder, right? So now we're talking about climbing the ladder in order to survive and make money. So these are the three basic instincts, whether you're white, black, Asian, or a Jew. The basic instincts. We live in the West. Money, need to survive. And in the West, that comes with climbing the ladder. If you climb the ladder, that's status, that's for ego, or it comes with status, it comes with ego. And then you also have the opposite end, which is you're going to try to climb the ladder. You're going to try to be authentic, lead with integrity, be honest, be empathetic, put others before yourself, care about the world as much as you care about the universe and life and God. That is morals. So you basically have got capitalism on one side, climbing the ladder, status and ego, capitalism, which is the West, and you've got the other side, which is morality, ethics, what's right ethically for you, for the people that you love, for your country, for the world, and for the earth. Ethics. So you've got two things. These two things often come into, they clash. They clash very often. And so what we see is a version of Imarn. I know this was really long. I'm so sorry.
It sounds good.
But thank you. Thank you. Right. So on one version, you have the person who wishes to climb the ladder. Ego, status, power. If you are climbing a ladder in the West, that ladder, that game was made by white people, built by white people, based off of enslaving people that look like you. What the fuck are you doing? You're trying to climb a ladder in the West. The West is about white people. You know, those birth rates that we were talking about, they're here to survive. White people, okay? And their survival was dependent on making sure that people that look like us didn't survive. That's a fact. So you're trying to still climb a ladder. And remember, irrespective of whether it was 400 years ago or today, it's the same social dynamic. You are climbing a ladder within the West. That's the fact. And so within that process, you have to, as we hear it all the time, sell your soul. That means you have to lead with morality.
Make the money.
And most people don't want to
Don't let
lead
it
with
make
morality,
you.
so they sell their soul. So you've got one end of the people that climb the ladder, you've got the coons, the people that lead with their own agenda, the people that throw black people under the bus in order to get more power, more status, their self-esteem and their ego. And then you've got the other person who ends up, which is me, who leads with morality, integrity, authenticity, trying to be honest, lead with facts, study, don't come on TV unless you know what the fuck you're talking about. Lead with integrity in terms of, one, who you are and the person that you're supposed to be, bringing it back to an actor. Nah, the person who wished to inspire. I just thought it was going to be through acting, and instead it ended up being to do with me as a black person. So be authentic. have integrity, put people ahead of yourself. Now that's a big thing. That's the key thing, and that's where the morality lies in terms of who's the best and who's the weakest. If you can put the agenda or the kind of progress of Black people ahead of your own progress as an individual, then that makes you a really good character. And that in itself is a whole battle for those that lead with morality. But those are the two camps. You've got the capitalists and you've got the ethically moral person. And those two things clash. And that's what we're seeing. Sorry, that was so long. And I will say that. It's like 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock in the morning in England, just saying.
For real?
So, yeah, just so you know.
Oh,
So this
shit,
is why
we
my
really,
brain is
really
like,
for
asleep right now. So yeah, I'll keep it simpler moving forward.
No, trust me.
But I agree with you
I
on
love all
one thing.
that.
I agree with you on really agree with you on one thing you said, is I feel the same way about people that come on here. Don't you come on here unless you know what the fuck you talking about. And now I want to ask you this, because this is something else that get under my skin.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people, MAGA, 50 Cent, and a couple of others, that's pushing a new stereotype that Black people will vote for Donald Trump because he has a RICO charge, he has a mugshot, and he's selling some ugly ass tennis shoes. And that's what burned me up when Black people help to push a dumb stereotype like that that you think all Black people are criminals or criminal sympathizers who like tennis shoes. And I'm like, where do y'all get this from? And how can you not be offended by one of the most racist things to ever come out of someone's mouth?
And not only that, as he just said, MAGA, right? Is it a wing of the UK party that's so white ring, that's so racist, or is it like that there? Huh?
Yes.
They do that.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So, okay, firstly, in terms of the parties here, we've got the main party, which is the party that's been in power for the last 14 years, which is the Conservative Party. We have elections right now. Our elections are, I think, the 4th or the 5th of July in terms of our new Prime Minister.
Now,
so
Conservative there,
Party, which is right wing.
Conservative there, okay, it's different from white wing. Okay, go ahead.
So it's right wing. So that would be the equivalent of your Republicans.
I got you now. Yeah.
Right. And then you've got Labour, which is the equivalent of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and
the Black lady. I love her. Go ahead.
Right. So you've got that dynamic here. So exact same dynamic. And then you've got the Reform Party, which is a new party that's emerged over the last few years. And they are the epitome of the most far right version of your Republicans. So in other words, your MAGA, your Trumps, right? So Nigel Farage is the leader of the Reform Party, and he's actually like this with Trump. He's actually been helping and connecting with him during this campaign, Trump's campaign. So those two are very tight, and that's what I mean by the West. The West is always working together. It's just Black people that just don't realize it, and that connects to Tony's point in terms of Black people at this present moment in time, because we live in the West. We're kind of grappling between, should we lead with morals, which is this one, or should we lead with the capitalistic climb the ladder and get ego, status, and fame? All of those things are connected to buying trainers and being interested in Black women shaking their BBLs and I don't know, rap music that promotes Black on Black violence. They, as white people, would love us to continue to focus on those things because it means that we just stay really stupid. We will eventually kill ourselves, and then they can hopefully have some more sex and create more babies and then outlast us. So that's the plan, and if they keep us stupid, they will fulfill our plan. Or their plan rather. I found out recently it was over, what was the number? I think it was over, let's just say we know it's tens of millions, if not billions, that Black women spend on weaves and facial makeup products, which helps the West thrive. So basically, in other words, if Black people had better self-esteem, rather, if Black women had better self-esteem and stopped putting European or mixed race or South American or Asian hair on their head, sticking it onto their head, the West would be literally in deficit. I don't know, like at least around, as far as I'm aware, it's like something like 10 to 30 billion a year that is spent on cosmetics, and I think Black people contribute at least 20% or at least 10 million of that. So moral of the tale is they would make far less money if Black people had better self-esteem, but that's not their agenda as white racists that lead with racial prejudice. Their agenda is to keep us stupid, keep us fascinated with trainers, keep us fascinated on just stupid things that keep us distracted. And so that kind of connects to the points. We do have our typical racist party, and we have our typical so we have our overt racist party, which is the Conservatives, which is like your Republicans. We have our covert racist party, which is our Labour, which is like your Lib Dems, right? Exact same situation, so overt and covert. And then we've got our extremists, our MAGA, which is Reform, Nigel Farage. And then we've got the agenda, the secret agenda of the West, England and America, which is keep Black people spending shitloads of money on trainers and weave and talking as much shit about one another as possible. Keep promoting as much music as possible that says kill other Black people. So we don't promote music for Jews killing other Jews. We don't promote music so much so in terms of white killing other whites, but we will make sure that the mainstream music is Black people killing other Black people. And because Black people aren't that intelligent, and the reason why they're not that intelligent is because they don't know their history. And of course they don't know their history is because we set it up that way. Because if knowledge is power, that's why we heard it during Black Lives Matter. If you have knowledge, you have a certain level of consciousness. And if you have consciousness, you can then begin to think. And if you begin to think, you begin to get smarter. And if you begin to get smarter, you begin to question the norms and question societal societal etiquette and values, and the things that have been taught to you start to question. And if you question, you get a bit more confident, and then you get more confident, and then you get empowered, and then you start to change. And then you get that unity that Black people have been talking about for 100 years that didn't exist coming together. And then now you have Black people who have more kids than white people. Now you have a unified Black people. Now they've stopped wearing wigs and weaves. Now they've stopped buying trainers and leading with the capitalistic version of climbing the ladder and following the white man's ideals of success. And now we have a whole Black population, 65 million in America, that are now putting all of their money into their own community, and then they're going to go back to Africa. Oh wow, that would decimate the West. And the reason why is because of something called BRICS. Have you heard of BRICS, Gent?
Go ahead. Yeah,
BRICS, geopolitics, BRICS, Africa uniting with China and Russia. Now we know that they are another version of colonialism, but
that's what it was about.
In the West of 500 years, it's still it's basically two devils. You're kind of stuck as Black people. You've got this devil over here, which is the West. You've got the devil over there, which is China and Asia. The reason why is because Africa is the resource for the whole entire world. Take away Africa, we have nothing. We have no phones. We have nothing. Zero. Nothing exists, including people, because we all came from Africa. So moral of the tale is a lot is going on, and Black people care about trainers and music and BBLs. And then when people say that, it's Candice, motherfucker. It's the Coonage vibe that say it. And that is what annoys me, because it is truthful, but it comes from the wrong place. They weaponize it. And she just does it because she knows she's going to make money. She knows she's going to get views. She's not doing it because I think that there's a part of Candice Owens. I met her husband at GB News, because remember, her husband, just so you know, I'm going on so many tangents, gents, follow me. Her husband that white man. He is an investor in GB News in England. So you've got GB News. Remember the Trump version of Our Politics, Our Party, Reform Party, Nigel Farage?
Okay.
Well, they have a TV program, a TV channel called GB News. Candice Owens' husband is invested, or his people are invested in GB News. That's one of the channels. Remember the channel where you saw me talking about the racist countryside?
Yeah.
When I walked away? That channel. That's Candice Owens' husband. He is connected to that channel. This is what I'm trying to say. The white people know what's going on. They are trying to build a very
Y'all got your own Fox News.
A lot going on. A lot.
Again, that's how we point out people like Candace Owens to the black coaches, just so they can know
the time
they some misleaders and some fake ass fools. You know what I'm saying? So we
because
that's what we do.
You get far further in the West climbing the ladder than you do following morality. That's the truth. This is why I'll keep it. I'll say one thing and I'll allow you all to speak, because thank you for indulging me. I've spoken for so long, but hence why I'm here. So thank you. I'll just say one thing, so I'm curious to hear what you've all thought after my long soliloquy. But I'll just say one thing, just to really make it personal. I realized all of this. So there's one thing knowing what I've just said in your brain, and there's another thing living it. I knew it as a black person. Everything that we said, coonage versus, coonage and an agenda, climbing the ladder, appealing to white people. We know this as black people. That's not even a conversation that we really need to have after hundreds of years of having it. So there's one thing knowing it, but there's a different thing living it, and going on to TV and experiencing certain channels. I'm sure we can all guess as to what channel I'm actually referring to and the presenter I'm referring to. Once I had the pleasure of dealing with that individual for 13 interviews with that particular individual and that particular right-wing channel, I realized quickly that at the beginning, the very thing that entices them, which is your black strength, your authenticity, your honesty, your kind of flair and feistiness and vibe, all of those things that attracted them to you, they eventually want to diminish, take away, in an attempt to make you smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then if you wish to climb that ladder, it's their ladder, not yours, their ladder. If you want to climb that ladder, you do have to follow their rules, such as don't call me racist on my own program. Please don't do that. That's an unspoken rule. No one says that out loud, because that would be overt racism. That would be overt manipulation. That would be overtly influencing people in a negative way, which would be ethically wrong. So you wouldn't do it obviously, but you would do it subtly. You would do it unspoken. You would do it in a kind of way that's very subtle and manipulative, in a way that the person understands what's happening without you having to say the words, which is, bitch, you want to climb, don't call me racist. And it doesn't matter what I say.
Exactly.
Just don't call me racist. And then next minute, you started with integrity, and then you ended up turning into a coon. But then you've got more money. Oh no, what does one do? Fuck.
Exactly true.
This is what's happening to many black people in the West.
Yes.
The West is capitalism, money, status. So yes, black people are turning into coons. They originally probably cared because they're black. And I don't believe that Candice Owens didn't have a moment at some point in her life where she didn't care about her blackness. Come on.
Not her.
Just like Kanye, we're black.
Now, Ice Cube,
money kicks in, capitalism kicks in, status kicks in, ego kicks in. You climb the ladder and then you sell your soul. And then you realize in order to continue to climb, you cannot say the obvious. I cannot say you are a motherfucking racist. I cannot say your channel fucking makes money off of my black ass whilst I get very little. I cannot say you keep using me, you racist motherfucker, and I have to sit here and pretend I don't know. I cannot say this because I won't get my check. I won't get called black. I cannot climb the ladder. So people are real, but they are turned into to coons.
I got you.
Candy started off being racially abused as a teenage girl and she had, what was it, the NAACP fucking standing up for her back in the day when she was a teenager, when she was racially abused by white boys, and the next thing you know, she's fucking a white boy, married to a white boy, got mixed race pitney. This is the truth. I'm just being honest. Okay, sorry, I know it sounds aggressive, that's the truth. And is now advocating for the white community and right wing at that, not even liberal white, which is very much far more balanced and connects to inclusivity and diversity. No, we're not. I'm Candy Stone. I'm not even going to advocate for that string of or cohort of white people. I'm going to advocate for the MAGAs. I'm going to advocate for the lowest of the
Exactly.
low. So she started off in a place of being black, having the abuse, realizing she has two options. She can be morally correct and she's going to find herself broke, or she can climb the ladder. That's what we see. Coons versus people that just want to stay true. And one comes with more money and one comes with less money. One comes with more status, one comes with less status. One comes with more ego, one comes with less ego. That is what that's what's happening in America and here. I'm done.
You
Sorry.
just literally
get that off my chest. That has been annoying me, and I can't say it on national TV. So this is what you got.
Yeah. Okay. Now you brought up something about our history and us not knowing our history. Now we got this issue over here. Now this is another issue I want to know if it's going over there, going on over across the pond, where we got certain people who want to take certain books out of libraries, schools, and basically they're trying to erase the history of our people.
Yeah,
they don't want books by certain people about certain subjects. They want to try to whitewash slavery, whitewash Jim Crow, and all this stuff. So, is that going on over in England also?
Yes, 1,000,000%. So remember what I said about reform. So just remember the three parties that we have, government parties: Conservative, which is your Republicans. We've got the Labour Party in England, which is your Kamala and Biden, Democrats. And then we've got the MAGA, your MAGA, which is our Reform Party: Nigel Farage, GB News. When I said I walked off. Reform, the MAGA aspect of our proportion of our society is advocating for eradicating DEI or EDI, diversity, inclusion, and equality, or diversity, equality, and inclusion, or they call it, I know they call it equity in America, or they add equity. We don't have that. We don't even have that. We just call it DEI, so diversity, equality, and inclusion. That is
the new, what they're using as the new nigga.
Say it again.
The three letters they're using as the new nigga when they want
to. Right. So we've got that here. So Reform Party, our MAGA, have been advocating for eradicating diversity, equality, and inclusion practices within institutions in our country. And then Conservative Party have also been doing the same. So we've got the right wing that are trying to get rid of the books, anything that promotes black empowerment, they are trying to get rid of. And then we've got the MAGA version, which is our Reform Party in England, that are also trying to do the same. So it's literally the exact same as America.
So that's why I was trying to tell people that this thing right here is not just here. It's something that white people's doing everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they all connecting with like a Trump type of vibe, you know, where
and Europe.
They're almost taking the lead of
and Europe. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but Europe has become increasingly far right. So as of recently, so do you know about? So you've heard of President Macron, France, the France president, the France prime minister.
Yeah. What about
So the prime minister, the president of France, he has a kind of a centrist government. So he's kind of he's supposed to be half Democrats and then half Republicans. That's what is supposed to be happening in France. Recently, there's elections all across Europe. So right now there are elections, just like there are elections in America, there are elections all across the world. It's actually never happened in the last, like, I think 100 years where the whole world is going through elections. So we've got literally every aspect of the world going through elections. So you've got Europe, America, and Asia, Pakistan, etc. I think it's Pakistan, or Southeast Asia rather. And so in Europe, the people that are being elected as of late have been far right or right wing. So originally it could have been most like left wing, so Democrat type style throughout Europe, Democrat style throughout Asia. Now what's happening is throughout Europe, it's becoming right wing. And so the recent polling for France, basically a far right party did far better than the centrist party that is currently in power. And that's the same with Belgium. We've seen that in Argentina.
Exactly.
So it's the far right narrative, meaning the MAGA narrative, the overt racism narrative. Ideology is circulating and spreading throughout the West.
Exactly. And I noticed that because it seems like most of the leaders try to echo whatever Trump say. And I think right now it's like really important in America. This is one of really important inflection points, because I always tell black people that you don't notice, but politics hit you directly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't get involved, you can't complain how things are going. If you're not involved in who making decisions, you know what I'm saying? That's why we do this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Just to get out information to our culture. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming from somebody that's different from where they're getting it from. You know what I'm saying? We can see it. We can tell it the story from a different vision. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like this podcast does. We come from a different vision of this shit. You know, to me, politics is not this damn hard as they making it. It's not this hard.
I agree.
They making this shit hard as fuck
agree.
for no reason, bro. A lot of things can get done over ASAP. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't politics involved with stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? If money, like she said, money wasn't taking over things, and like here, the gun lobby take over shit. When we can get guns out of the street instead of guns killing black people every year, you feel me? Which gives us the George Floyd situation when you had police officers 8 minutes and 8 seconds and some shit on his neck.
Yep.
Like 9 minutes on somebody's neck and don't expect them to be dead. It's ridiculous, bro. You feel me?
I don't know how they think, it takes 3 minutes to strangle somebody.
Man, you just smoke 2 jacks while his knee was on his neck. And
Literally.
you tell me you don't think he's dead, bro?
Literally.
So
that's institutionalized racism for you. The overt. It's that. So remember, it's all about supremacy, white supremacy. That actually connects to what we was talking about in terms of the monarchy. It's the monarchy in England in terms of Meghan and Harry and the Queen, the late Queen rather, now King Charles. That institution in England represents white supremacy, and that white supremacy has been filtered out throughout the whole of the West and throughout every institution, from policing to education to healthcare to housing. And you have overt forms that you're dealing with in America, and then we've got the covert forms here. So it's everywhere, and I
want you to hear from one politician that's here. I don't know if you heard her name, MTG. Marjorie Taylor Greene. You ever heard of her?
Yes, Marjorie. Yes, I saw the recent
the other day she said something about George Floyd. I don't know if the audience heard this yet. I'll listen to it.
We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the country over George Floyd. And Raskin's in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you. And this is really important. Bro. I don't worship, I worship God.
Bruh, first of all, she got highly upset. She was highly upset, bro. What was saying? You worshiping Trump. So how did you turn that into George Floyd? I would never know, bro. And then that's disrespectful. First of all, George Floyd. Nobody's worshiping George Floyd, bro. It's the fact that
He was
murdered
was
on his neck.
The police killed this man.
Him.
The police killed this man.
He was a symbol of the situation.
In front of everybody, in front of the world. You watched them kill a man.
Yeah.
And
you don't worship him. It was the situation that took place, which sparked the whole Black Lives Matter situation from the beginning. But it's not worshiping that person himself. It's the situation of a police killing black man in the street. That's the situation. And it just so happened to use his name for the situation to help this cause. Black Lives Matter was born bred off that. And they was the for the cause to get pushed on. You know what I'm saying? So that bring me into you right here. Me personally, when Black Lives Matter was here in DC, in Maryland, in America, I didn't agree with what they was doing here, right? I didn't agree with them not being more aggressive. I didn't agree with them not having an agenda. At one time, I searched around for who was leading these motherfuckers. Remember that shit? Like, is y'all just running around saying Black Lives Matter? Who is you? What did y'all do? So, to me, it's a drop ball. You could have turned Black Lives Matter into something that would get legislation, you know what I'm saying, done. You could have a session in the Congress called Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, get stuff done instead of just letting it just go past. Now, don't get me wrong. The Black Lives Matter movement done a lot. Just that symbol alone is where it make people aware of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that that happened. The Black Lives Matter overall was a bad thing, but the people that was here doing it did not have no. Put it like this: they have no agenda. It was nobody leading the thing. It was just people screaming.
They had an agenda. They just had no.
It was no agenda. It was just screaming Black Lives Matter.
It was just no.
Okay, now what? What's the bill you want done? It was none of that.
At the time, it just wasn't no organization.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was.
That's what we had here. That's exactly what we had here.
And that made it a problem here because then it just turned into people just screaming. Yeah. It was just nothing like a congressman would now pick up the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not. We had the exact same thing here. Spot on it. This is why I always kind of want to reiterate the point that we're literally dealing with the exact same dynamic here. It's just manifests slightly differently, but it's the exact same dynamic. Exactly. Here, in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement, we had BLM UK, which were abolitionists. So they were advocating at the time to defund the police or abolish the police. So some cohorts were saying abolish, some were saying defund. And then they believed in anti-capitalism. Now, again, based off of just being a logical human being who isn't irrational and emotional, us Black people in the UK represent 3 to 4% of England. So we're here, we came from Africa, and we're now going to say to the 97% of the population, get rid of your entire police because us 3% don't like them. That is irrational and actually entitled and delusional. Why waste your time saying such a stupid thing to 97% of the population? It's never going to happen. You're wasting your time. It's ridiculous. What you can do is find a better way to get your message across and achieve your aims in a way that brings those individuals together. It holds them accountable and sheds light on their bullshit, but also brings them with us in terms of our journey. Remember, this is our country, or their country and our country. So this is why it's so frustrating when you see Black people talking about, let's just abolish this and get rid of this. This is the West, their institutions. Their institutions. You cannot, it's irrational to sit here and say we're going to abolish this and we're going to be anti-capitalist this. Well, the West is built off of capitalism. So if you don't like it, get out of the West. And again, the people that say that are the coons. This is why it's really hard to hear the message, because it's true. You cannot sit here in the West. And this is the hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy that white people continue to weaponize against us as Black people. The hypocrisy. We want to focus on racism, and yet our house is a mess. And then the people that say the house is a mess are the Republicans. The people that say we should focus on the racism are the Liberals and Democrats. This is why it's really annoying, because it really should be the other way around. The Democrats and the Labour Party should be saying, let's fix our house, let's get black people united, let's stop wearing weaves, let's stop spending money on trainers, let's make sure that we abolish the monarchy that keeps asking about how dark babies are going to be. Let's get rid of all of that shit and then move forward. And then we can deal with the racism. So this one and then this one. But right now, it looks like this. And this is what's so annoying. It's the opposite way around. And I would suggest that's throughout the whole of the West.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, that is for sure.
That was deep.
That was deep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I go off on tangents because it's 2:00 and I don't have to govern myself because I'm not on national TV. It's just nice to have a relax. If I'm with my peoples, this is exactly how I am. I can just go off on tangents, bring it back.
Yeah.
So thank you for indulging me.
That's what I like. That's what I like about this type of platform.
Yeah, same here.
You can say what you want, say how you feel, say
relax.
You feel like feeling it. Because believe me, we've said worse.
Look, we really appreciate you too for coming through the podcast. You know what I'm saying, dog? I don't want to keep you up all. I didn't know the time difference was like that at all.
5 hours, leave it to
I
9.
do not want to keep you up like that for sure. You know what I'm saying,
No,
dog?
I
But
love this
a
podcast.
couple things I do want to ask you though.
Yes, please.
The Black Performance Movement. Before we get out of here, explain to us what is that? How do you come up with that, and what's your thought process of the Black Performance Movement?
Perfect. Thank you. Excellent question. In terms of a summary for everything that we've said, so moral of the tale is the Black Lives Matter movement in this country consists of or comprises of those that are abolitionists like BLM UK, the anti-capitalists, just like Patrice Colours, that don't want money but then spend lots of money. You've got those people. Then you've got the people that are reformists, that appreciate that we are 3% of England, and we don't really have much power in this country, but what we can do is try to change it for the best for our small minority. And then you have the people that just don't really care about politics but just want to see equality and people getting rid of their racial prejudice. So that is the Black Lives Matter movement in the UK summarized. Abolitionists, reformists, and the people who don't really give a fuck, they just don't want to see racism. Those three. I decided I wasn't an abolitionist because, like I said, we're 3% of the country. It's irrational to tell 97% to get rid of their institution. You're just a dumbass if you're going to continue to waste your life saying that. That's really stupid. So I didn't believe that that was the route that we should go down. The second route was, well, can we reform it? Can we start to, like you are doing with this podcast, present cogent arguments, cogent conversations, thought-provoking conversations to the masses or to individuals that care to learn, and hope to God that that changes our country or our environment or the world, right? Mm-hmm. That's the second cohort, which are the reformists. That's where I lie. And that's where I decided that's when I decided, once I'd realized who I am in this movement, that I would start to delve into presenting rationality and balance into the conversation. So if you're going to be an anti-capitalist, I have no problem with that, but just don't have a phone, don't.
Froze on us?
Oh,
damn.
Well, you fix that.
Go ahead.
I want to say something to this Abdul character. Dude, that's some coward ass shit. We put up with that all the time. It's a lot of y'all out there. You don't have to agree with us. I like it when you don't, because it provokes conversation and it provokes thought. But if you want to get into this shit, calling names, want to be spitting racist shit,
Her phone probably went dead.
kick rocks with that shit. You are a coward.
Oh, they can do that all night long.
Hey,
one thing I love is the fact that Black Lives Matter activists, first of all, come on a podcast, man. That is the conversation. I want to keep going too.
Yeah, that's a conversation.
I didn't know our time difference like that.
Yeah.
I ain't know it was like that. I don't want to keep nobody up like that.
Late over there.
I just love talking to people just like that. And then the fact that she is across the pond, it's not like she here in America.
And you hear the same.
We can still exactly.
She's over. She crossed the waters, and they got the same things going on as we got over here. Exactly. Well, it shouldn't surprise you because what? Where did America come from? America came from England. So it's no surprise that, you know, the same thought process is over there that is over here.
Exactly.
But all you people, y'all want to call us niggas and this, that, and
do that. That's cool.
I mean, that's all cool and shit. But if you got a different point of view,
that's a man. The door's open. Watching that joint.
Yeah,
you know,
the door's open. Come on in. You come on in. You can come on in here and talk your shit. Explain yourself. Tell me why. Don't try to insult me. Tell me why. And this is my point of all MAGA, black MAGA, white MAGA, Republicans, all of you. If your way is a better way, I'm willing to listen. Explain it to me. Tell me why your way is the better way. I get on here all the time and tell you why I think the way I think is the better way. If you got a better way, bring it to me. I always say, come and talk to us. That's the problem. Y'all don't want to talk. Y'all want to insult. You want to call names. You want to this, that, and the third. You want to do everything but bring an idea to the table because you have no ideas. You want to talk about everything but your accomplishments because you have no accomplishments. So you can come on here, you can type what you want. He's nothing but a coward. Or let me put it in terms that I think you can understand. You's a bitch.
I'm so. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we hear you.
I'm so. My phone overheated. I kid you not. But this is how you know that this is a very long and very excellent conversation because I'm usually never on the phone for this long. It overheated. It didn't even die. It overheated. I don't even know how that's actually never happened to me before. So I do apologize. I'm so sorry. I've had the cat and it overheating.
You was in the middle of something.
What happens at 1 o'clock in the morning? Just so you know. Sorry. Time scale. But yes. What did I miss? What did you just say? It was you.
No, he had a problem with somebody leaving messages, but we're gonna get past that. You was in the middle. You was in the middle of the Black Performers movement.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, moral of the tale is I realized quickly after the abolitionists or realizing that the Black Lives Matter movement in the UK comprises of three things, which is firstly the abolitionists, which is BLM UK, and the anti-capitalists like British Colours who spend lots of money. Then you've got the reformists who believe that we should change the country that we're in, even though we have very little power. So we should just do what we can and do the most of it. And then we have the people that don't really care. They just don't want to see Black people and other people being marginalized and abused. So I realized, where do I fit in those three categories? It's the reformist. Let's change our institutions. Let's build self-awareness. Let's increase our self-esteem as Black people. If we can do that, first and foremost, increase our self-esteem. Let's try to get rid of the wigs. Let's try to connect. I was wearing a blonde wig 4 years ago. This is what I mean by we have to start with ourselves. It genuinely is a journey. And what happens is us Black people, again, because we are told via the Democrats to focus on the racism. And then like I said, the Republicans tell us, well, you keep focusing on the racism, you should actually be focusing on yourself. The irony is, I kid you not, gents, the Republicans are right. They actually are. And then the people that say that are the coons. So therefore the message never gets connected. It doesn't connect to us because we're thinking, well, hold on a second. What are you talking about? You're a coon. You're aligned with the white people and you're telling us we should be fixing ourselves. But what about what they've said is wrong? We should be fixing ourselves. We shouldn't be selling or making music that is about killing other black people while simultaneously saying Black Lives Matter. You are a dumbass. And anyone with any rationale sees that as you are a dumbass. But us black people get real emotional. We just think, oh, no. It's far easier to focus on the white man and all the white people that have held us down. But the reality is, if we were stronger as a people, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The white people know that. That's a fact. They know that. And then black people try to say it, but they're coons. And so no one hears them. I'm not a coon, so therefore I will say it. Let's focus on ourselves. Get rid of the wigs. Get rid of the bullshit. Let me kill this black person, stab up this black person. Then we have credibility. Then we can start talking about fuck you white people with your racism. Then we actually have a leg to stand on in terms of saying we want change. But until we are stabbing up each other or stop stabbing up each other, until in terms of domestic violence, black men kill more in this country. It's a recent statistic. Black femicide supersedes any other culture in this country. So in other words, black women are dying more than any other woman in this country. The reason why is because of things like domestic violence and typically black men killing or beating black women, right? So there is that's one factor, not all, but one factor. So moral of the tale is this is what's happening in our country, and we need to just be aware of it to the point where we are changing ourselves first before we start demanding change of others. And that message has been ignored in the whole movement, the reformist movement, the abolitionist movement, the I don't give a fuck, I just don't want to see people abused movement. That's missing. Our self-esteem. That's the key here. Self-esteem for Africa, self-esteem for black people, self-esteem for the African who's in America and the African who's in England, having to deal with the overt forms of racism, the covert forms of racism, and the institutionalized forms of racism. You cannot tell a next man what to do with his behavior, his thoughts, and his feelings. Impossible. You will spend your life wasting your life and will die literally having never achieved that result. What you can do is control what you have, focus on what you have control over, which is you. Not spending 100, as a community, spending millions of pounds on weave that's based off of your own bad self-esteem. And that bad self-esteem comes from slavery, colonialism, and racism. So instead of focusing on the racism, how about you just fix your self-esteem and get rid of the wigs? And therefore you wouldn't keep giving the racist institution and the West, this racist part of the world, money. It's on us. It's always been on us, but no one wants to talk about that.
Well,
good.
That's been my point for the longest time. And I keep telling and about every week I get on here and I tell the coons and the bootlickers and Uncle Tom, I tell them every week, don't go around talking about us.
Yeah.
Come talk to us.
Yeah.
If you have something that you feel in your heart is a better way, is a better idea, and some things just might be a better way and a better idea, come talk to us. Don't run around the country. Don't run around the world. Don't go here, there, talking about us as if we as if we animals in a zoo. Come talk to us.
Yeah,
we'll listen. If we don't like it, we'll tell you to kick rocks. But if it's something that we feel will work or will help, we got no problem. Take the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, which they are so hyped up to try to overturn, to get rid of. It's a Republican idea. It came from a Republican governor, and it's now that it's working for the masses and black people, you want to get rid of it. Because why? If you bring it to us, we'll listen. If it's good for us, we may adopt it, but stop running around talking about us and come talk to us, and then we could get something done.
Now, oh no, I agree on one point that, to me personally, both parties should be right. Period. That's the whole goal, because everybody is supposed to be in the same thing. It's just the fact that the Republicans turn politics into warfare. So therefore, you're not getting two parties with the same goal with two different ideas to come to the same goal. You don't have it no more. So therefore, you'll have two people that's both sides that's right, but they got different ideas of how to get there. You don't have that no more. You got an idea to get there from one side, and the other side just want to rip that up and just don't do nothing or just make up their own idea. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody coming together to work together from both sides to make it a whole thing for the American people in general. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you don't have no collaboration. There's no collaboration when you have Republican Party that don't want to do anything. Nothing. If it don't have nothing to do with restricting women's rights, they sitting on their hands. If they ain't got nothing to do with keeping motherfucking second minute up and flying, they ain't got nothing. They golfing. They literally, it is not working unless it's doing something with religion, taking away your rights as a woman, abortion, or guns. And then they go damn so sure for tax cuts. That's it. That's their life. So if that's what you want, that's the type of life you want. That to me is not enough. The things that happen on a daily basis in America, bro. You know what I'm saying? From the air quality to things changing, you know what I'm saying? Science, you know what I'm saying? Like, then the Republicans don't even believe in science. So it's like you can't win with them. Where do you go with them? You know what I'm saying? That's my problem. It's like it's not too much you can do with the Republican Party that's here
at all.
They don't want to do anything that's for, like she said, Republicans are right on do it. Get yourself together as a black person, black man. Cool, but they don't have no policies to back none of that up.
None of it.
So therefore, you got them just saying it instead of making up policies to then come back to the Democrats with their policy. Yeah. Then they mix them together and they both works together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I say, my whole issue is the things that you say, even though you may be right, you'll run around and talk to massa, but you won't come talk to us. Yeah. You won't come talk to the niggas in the field, but you'll go massa. They need to get themselves together. Massa, listen to the music they listen to. Massa, look what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, no.
And then that's there right there. I never agreed with music being a problem. You know what I'm saying? And then the hair thing is just, to me, it's just women. Black women are just fancy. Black women are more creative than white women, bro. Period. So them doing all those things are just them being creative as fuck. And they just don't want to be a normal. They don't want to be normal. Since we've been alive, black women don't want to be normal. They don't do shit normal. They do shit out of the box.
As far as the music concerned, it ain't the music. The music is the message. When you put out, see, you don't have another race of people who in all their music, their women are bitches and hoes.
True.
You don't.
But again, us as black people, we use nigga, bitches, hoes different than the rest of the motherfucking cultures. So, for example, we started using nigga not as fucking some bad word. We was using it as use my motherfucking man. You my dog.
That's true.
You my nigga. That's how that began.
But
you know what I'm saying? So it's not like.
But that also gave license. That also gave license to the bigots and the racists to use it too. Well, they use it. They making music up money off it. It's all in their music. They call each other that. And okay, why is a problem when I do it? So it's a catch-22 any way you look at it. It's 6 on one hand and half a dozen on the other. So,
but I'll add to that. I'll just say I love the fact you've just spoken about music, because you're right. It's catch-22, but it's also something that people don't like to talk about. For me, it's just obvious. internalized racism, and the reason why it's internalized racism is because what planet, gentlemen, what planet are we living on where we sit here on one hand talking about Black Lives Matter and slavery and colonialism and all the people that died, were raped, were literally had every type of worst possible outcome during their time of living? On what planet is it okay for us to then start using the word that caused all of that abuse? And we're talking abuse over 400 years. To me, that makes no sense, other than your own internalized racism, and you thought you would, as a Black person, try to empower yourself and what's the typical term, redefine the word nigger, redefine it.
Yes, that's what we did as a culture.
Yeah, and that's what most people would argue. You've redefined it. But I would argue that's internalized racism. And the reason why I would say that very confidently is because it is your own lack of consciousness that says it's okay to use a word that literally caused the demise of your entire ancestry. There are many words that one could use, or better yet, create. And that's the salient point. Create. Not what we know, and that's why I'm saying it's internalized racism. Remember, we've used the word in regards to what we know. So it doesn't matter however you, whatever way you want to spin it, we've decided to use a word in regards to what we know and try to change it, as opposed to, again, what I keep saying about it's all on us in terms of our own self-esteem, being creators of the universe, thinking of new things, new insightful ideas, new agendas for the world and for our communities. We didn't go for that route. We went for the word that enslaved our people. Do you know how stupid we look as a community? It's actually ironic, like it's mad. And I hate seeing TikTok when I see these Black girls from England cussing off the American girls, talking about how the American people have made us look so bad as English Black girls. And that's a whole nother dynamic, because we hear Black men in America and we hear Black women in America talking about nigger this and nigger that. And there are many people in England that are like, yo, what the fuck is happening? Are we that stupid as a people that we couldn't even create a new word to say, yo, wagwan, yo, my guy, yo, my G? We couldn't even find, we're that unintelligent as a species that we couldn't even create, of all the letters in the alphabet, we as a Black people couldn't create a new word. No, we had to use the word nigger because we thought it was empowering ourselves. But in the same vein, it has given license to all the racists. So
me personally, I'm a true believer in finding triumph and tragedy, right? That's why I feel that way, right? You can find a way to get triumph through a tragedy situation, right? And to me, if we've been called nigger all for 400 years, and us as Black people find a way to spice that word up another way that's always in our conscious of being called. This is our been called that. We've been called Negro. It's been going on our government documents. Everything from nigger has been in our life. Even when you turn it into Negro and make it in your birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? So we as Black people obviously turn triumph into tragedy into triumph. And you got to realize that us saying nigga didn't start in the 80s, didn't start in the 70s. Niggas was calling, Black people calling niggas each other niggas in the 60s.
Exactly. Internalized racism.
You actually go back to the Jeffersons. He actually said this shit on live TV a few times.
Yeah, internalized racism.
They call each other niggas on Sanford stuff.
Internalized racism. And we are just copying because we're not creating anything new.
You saying, all right, do you think the word nigga still sounds the same way when you say nigger?
Isn't that interesting? Because there is no differentiation for us as Brits. There's no differentiation. The word nigger, remember, we care about politeness. That was the first thing that I said in this podcast. British etiquette, social etiquette, is about British politeness. So there is no difference between nigger or niggers or nigger. It's just nigger. That's wrong.
Hold on. The word was
That's
nigger.
wrong. And
The
so
nigger.
anyone that says
Hold on.
that, even if
The
they're black
actual
or white,
word.
it's
Hold
wrong.
on.
It's wrong.
The actual word itself was nigger. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
The actual word we talking about now is niggas.
Right. So do you
Right or
think
wrong?
that white people with their racial prejudice distinguish? They stop when they're listening to music to say, "Oh, was that an E and an R? Was that
That
an
wasn't
A
our
and
thought
an S?"
process, though. We just, to us as black people, like I just said, this is
Right,
not
but in doing that, you're right, and I'm not disputing any. I'm
from the
not
system.
refuting anything that you've just said. Honest to God, it actually validates my original point in terms of empowerment. I said it originally in my first part of my soliloquy. Us as black people have tried to find empowerment as a result of all these tragedies, and so, in other words, to use your term, tragedy to triumph. That is something that America has dealt with, Australia, the Aborigines, indigenous people around the world, including black people from Africa that live in Britain, like myself. We've all felt the same instinct, which is to try to empower ourselves as a result of tragedy. So that I will never negate. I'm not negating that even in the slightest. I think that's valid. What I'm saying is, in doing that, it validates Tony's point, which is that it has given license for people to continue with their racism. That is a fact. So even if we wanted to stop it, even if we wanted to stop overt forms of racism, because remember the word nigger comes from overt forms of racism, even if us black people who keep saying Black Lives Matter want to stop the three forms of racism, overt, covert, and institutionalized, even if we want to stop it, well, we're not going to, because we keep reminding white people to keep saying the word. And then that word connects to associations, which is you, sir, with the red glasses and the headphones. Your ancestors were on a plantation. My ancestors weren't, so therefore I'm better than you. So yes, keep saying nigger because it reminds me of my superiority. White supremacy, which is the West, which is Trump, which is England, which is Democrats, Republicans, or in England, Conservatives and Labour. So this is what I mean by our lack of intelligence as a black community. We could have created another word. If you want to talk about empowerment is not saying I'm going to use an old word that literally caused
Take the power away
my whole
from
entire
it.
culture.
Take the power
What it's
away from the
empowering is saying
motherfucking
I'm so
preface, bro.
intelligent as a people, I'm going to
Take
create
it
a new
away.
word.
That word is almost irrelevant now because we
No, it's
took it
not.
away from it.
No, it's not.
You
You
can't.
know why?
Can't too many people get you mad in 2024 by saying nigga.
You know
Now
why?
that's your
Maybe 1920, 1980, 1990, you'll be mad because I was mad. But now motherfuckers say that shit. You used to people saying it now because it's a normal process of talking.
because we have helped that process continue in
All right,
England.
for example,
White people to
all right,
this
hold
day
on. For
still
example,
call us
music.
niggas.
Hold on. For example, music. NWA with niggas, NWA joint. Starting off with the nigga song, right? You gotta and guns. You gotta realize rap music starting off just black people telling their story. For example, I was shot 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got CDs right now on SoundCloud right now. You can go listen to my whole story of my life. And I'm gonna talk about my life. Selling dope, getting shot, locked up. That's your story. You're telling your story. That you can't help that. If gunplay,
Okay, so
hold on.
can I say one thing very
You
quickly?
got gunplay in your life. You got drug. I was born. My mother smoked crack. My father sold coke. I was in this house, raised in, if you want to call it a crack house, and I eventually took over the house where I sold, manufactured coke, and people smoke coke in the house. If you want to call it a crack house, then that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? But I know for a fact that these things are not because of the white man. It's because of we taking our power back. That word means nothing to us.
But can I say something?
Right or wrong?
Can I say something? So, firstly, how can you take the power back? You're still in a bad situation. So, again, this is what I mean by this this truly,
Let me
God,
can a
I'm
white
sorry, I
man
sound
call
like
you
I
a
need some
nigga
lack
and you
of
actually be mad
intelligence as a
today?
black community. Listen to what you just said. You spoke about rappers back in the day talking about what they had to deal with, and
Me
rapping about their
personally,
lives,
me personally,
right? That's
me
what you
personally.
thought.
You go on SoundCloud right now. I'm gonna tell you a story of my life. I
Right,
got
perfect.
shot. I sold dope. My mother smoked crack. That's in the CD.
Right, so perfect.
Ain't
So
nothing we can do about that.
I'm not disputing that. So what I'm trying to say is, you had genuinely, if you genuinely just think about it from a broader perspective, you technically, in terms of the words that you use, you have one option or you have another option. That's just common sense, right? So you have one option, which is to use a word that you know, and then you have another option, which is create a new word. So you have nigger, or you could say king. For example, if you and each word comes with an association. So nigger, as you said, comes from a place of a hardship and being abused, and you've tried to empower yourself. But you're still in the same situation where the West still continues to racially abuse you. You still grew up in a crack house, and your situation is still negative. So
And we
how
talking
have
about the
you found
word.
empowerment when
We
the
talking about the word
situation
though.
hasn't
The
changed,
word itself.
racism hasn't
It's not gonna
changed,
solve all
and
that.
the word hasn't changed? You have no empowerment, sir. What you have done is just continued with the word that allows the racial abuse to continue. What you could have done in that moment when you're rapping is said, yo, these kings. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a different example. There is a footballer called Vinicius Jr.
What about my nigga though?
I'll give you an example. Vinicius Jr., he is a footballer. He used to be a main Premiership footballer in England. He ended up going to he was a main footballer in England. He did a big game recently last year in Spain. And as he was getting off the coach, he was racially abused by the Spanish audience, the Spanish people that were there to see the football match. And they were calling him nigger and monkey and all sorts. Spain decided after many years that they were actually going to take racism seriously, and they ended up prosecuting those individuals that called Vinicius Jr. Overt racial slurs. And then those people ended up getting convicted. So, moral of the tale is, the word nigger still means a lot for all of the countries that colonized black people, first and foremost. And secondly, the word nigger remains and will continue to remain as long as we as black people use it and continue to give white people license to use it. It will continue to remain as the thing that demolishes black people.
Damn. God damn it.
But well,
shit. Just like we just got a message earlier calling us niggers.
Well, I'm gonna put
it's
it like
a plain example. White people know. It's a huge difference. They know what they say out there. Look what he wrote. Niggers.
It's like
that's
this.
niggers.
It's like this.
It's not a person in black to say niggers that say it like that. Is that true or false?
This is my thinking.
Hold on. Is that true or false?
I think it's.
Don't worry about your feelings. Do people say it like that?
Some people believe that. I'm gonna say
stop.
That. Some people believe that.
When niggas around your way, anybody say niggas, do they say it like this? Niggers.
Oh no, when you're talking among yourself, it's something different.
Do it sound like that? They're two different joints.
No, but see, this is my
niggers.
This is my whole thing.
It's a motherfucking racist word.
And I'll leave it at this. This is what I believe, and this is the way I feel. For 400 years, white people had niggers. Niggers were enslaved physically. Now they got niggas enslaved mentally. Because they have sit here, and white people who control the media, who control the movies, who control the record industry, where all of this shit was pervasive, and where we feel as though, we changed it. We did this. They're still getting rich and powerful No, off of niggas, just like they always have. Just like they always
wait. Again, that's what I'm about to ask her. Like, how y'all equating the word with things that ain't happening or are happening? That's not the same two things.
No.
Like, you mixing things up when you say, well, you still ain't did this. I still, as a people, ain't done. Has nothing to do with the word. There's two different things there.
No.
Right or wrong?
What
the word got to do with all those
you can
things?
Feel that way, but I mean,
black people are dealing with.
I'm guilty of using it, and I know that I should.
I'm not guilty of that.
In any capacity.
I use it, and I use it.
But
simple.
Look,
I don't say. I never in my life said niggers. Who I said that to in my life? Nobody. I never said niggers to nobody. I never said that before.
All I'm saying is,
you never heard nobody say that.
No, I can't say that because I don't know what a motherfucker mean.
And you niggers,
and you
heard somebody say that,
but you have black people. You have black coon niggas, coon
said
people
niggers.
That call people.
You
niggers.
Heard that?
You heard it.
When? I never heard it. I never heard nobody say that. Black people that talk to each other about niggas, they not saying niggers. Come on. They're not saying that. You know that. I know that.
Motherfucker, you done heard motherfucking some black people. These niggers.
Nah, so you could tell that sound completely different.
I mean, look.
No. Just be realistic for a minute.
The spelling or whatever
See?
the fuck.
No, you can't mix them together like that.
No, yes you can.
Why?
Because look.
Why?
It's a word on it for real that
been shortened and spiced up.
Fucking shortened, spiced up. It should have been eliminated because you don't hear white people going around calling each other cracker or hunky.
Because we started that. We made that up.
You don't motherfucking hear. You don't hear motherfucking Mexicans
like
going around calling
niggas.
each other spicks and wetbacks.
Because we made that up.
You don't hear it.
We gave them all them names.
Come on, man. Look, we didn't make that all
hunkies.
That shit up.
We started that.
Might have. I don't know.
What do you mean?
But I'm saying,
what do you think? White people ain't started that, bro. We spiced all this English language up, bro. What's wrong with you?
It's a motherfucking word that should have been eliminated.
Spice it all up.
And I mean, you feel the way you can feel the way you want to feel about it. I'm
the word to me just has nothing to do with everything else. They two different things.
Because
she said in England it does.
One thing I hate, I always hated, and I still hate to this day, when no matter what connotation of the words you're using is when people using it around white people or other groups of.
You're gonna have people that let their friends call them niggas.
And that's not cool.
See, you cannot say
that's
what's not cool. That's his friend.
That's not cool.
See, that's the thing I don't get with this right here.
That's what I was saying about
the word niggas really is not what it was before.
That's what I was saying earlier about the song.
We got kids 13 saying nigga for no reason.
And J-Lo, because they don't know no better.
But you gotta pay attention to 2024, bro, my guy.
But see,
listen for a minute. You
gotta
listen to 2024.
You gotta teach where the word came from and what the word means. Because look,
bruh,
it might mean something different for you.
You think a kid would say nigga thinking about some racist shit? Bruh?
Because they don't know any better.
Talk to me. Be realistic for a minute.
They don't know any better.
So therefore,
they grew up on it.
Hold on. So therefore, that word is not that to them. Yes or no?
But they need to be taught.
Okay, we get that.
This is a problem.
Hold on, stay with me. Stay with me for a minute. Stay with me. Just stay with me. Kids all over America right now use the word nigga. Right or wrong?
Yes.
They don't say nigger. They say nigga.
No.
Yes or no? Kids everywhere. White kids, Chinese kids. That's why I gave up the shit up. What I'm be arguing motherfuckers for when they're not even using it the same way. Every kid is saying that they ain't even thinking about no racist shit, bro.
Because they haven't been taught.
Because that means that word is not it no more. It's just not it.
Just like Chinese people, you bringing up Chinese people, they Chinese people get amongst each other and call each other chinks.
No, because we gave them that name, bro.
We didn't give everybody the goddamn name.
We the ones gave these slick names up.
No, we haven't.
Like Hunky and Cracker.
We might have did Hunky.
We did that.
We might have did Hunky. We might have did Cracker. We did all of them.
We gave them stick too. We started that.
Look, everybody, it's everybody feels different. Everybody feels different about it.
You just don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the word to us,
to you,
not being used in that direction. It's not being used that way. It's not being thought of that way. It's not even being said the
For
same
you,
way.
Okay, look, that's the way you
Those
feel.
are facts.
That's cool. But it's some people.
As when you were speaking on here, we had somebody that left the word nigger actually on the motherfucking comments. See you niggers on here. They use the word niggers
with a picture of Hitler.
I ain't put it up, of course, but yeah.
He
wanted to spaz on him, but it's no need to spaz on him.
It isn't need to spaz on him because right there, you know, if a motherfucker gonna put out niggas
on your chat
and they profile picture is a picture of Hitler,
that's a problem.
You know what?
That's why he used the word niggers.
And you don't spaz on them. Something wrong.
That's why he said niggers. He knew what he was doing. Go ahead.
If he'd put niggers with a picture of Hitler,
that would look a little different too. But go ahead.
Okay, he put
the ERS on there.
Okay, he put an AZ on there. He put an A and a Z on there, but still had a picture of Hitler. That makes a difference.
Yeah, because this shit is specifically put ERS. That means niggers. He know what he doing on that.
Like I said, if you feel that way, that's cool. But
that's why I ain't put it up. I should show y'all this, but I don't want y'all to show that.
Some of us don't.
Go ahead. We missed you. You was talking when you dropped out. We haven't got to a little debate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say very quickly that, firstly, just to address a few of the points that were made, let's just be clear. You have the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. So subconsciously, kids are aware of it. That's factually evident based off of psychology, neuroscience, and sociology. So factually, kids are aware of prejudice. So
I'm talking the word nigger. The word nigger. When they use the word nigger, they're not thinking of prejudice or anything.
This is the point that I'm trying to make. They are thinking of prejudice because they know that the word nigger comes from a certain place. So subconsciously, they are aware of everything that word entails and everything that word means. Subconsciously. Consciously, when they say it, it says, yo, my nigger, yay, my black dude. And this is what I mean by internalized racism, because there are two parts of your brain. The conscious brain that says, yo, my nigger, I'm 10. Yo, my nigger, yo, you're black, I'm black, yo, my nigger, right? Conscious, I'm making a conscious decision to say the word niggers. Right?
That's what it is.
Subconscious, but subconsciously, the word exists in your brain because of slavery, colonialism, and racism. So the only reason why your brain knows that word, and remember, subconsciously, it has all the associations that come with it. So you're not thinking of it consciously, you're thinking of it subconsciously, and you've decided to use that word consciously. So that brings me back to the point that I was trying to make. Kids subconsciously are aware of racial prejudice. They are aware of what the word nigger means for our people in terms of inferiority.
You really think that?
Let me just finish. Subconsciously, kids, adolescents, teenagers, and adults are all aware of nigger, the word, what it means, the historical context, and the associations that come with it in terms of inferiority for skin color and superiority for a different skin color. That has been factually proven throughout reports in regards to sociology, psychology, and neurology. And I'll give you another example. We had a big experiment called, it was a big documentary in England called The School That Tried to Eradicate Racism. That's the documentary name. The School That Tried to Eradicate Racism. It was a primary school, and they showed how primary school black kids all thought that white people were far more attractive, white people were far more smarter, white people were far more popular, and they couldn't quite understand why, and they had to go into the psychology of it in terms of human dynamics, human behavior, what happens when you live in a community and you have to subscribe to the norms within that community, bearing in mind our community is predominantly white. So this was happening, proven in a school in the UK. Just type in, please go onto Google right now, type in The School That Tried to Eradicate Racism, UK. Type that in. They did a whole documentary on it, and it was about 12-year-olds, and literally they did a like a focus group where the teacher sits in front of black and white kids and they ask different questions. And the 10-year-old, who's black and African, couldn't understand why she wanted a white Barbie. The 10-year-old couldn't understand why she thought that white people were prettier. The 10-year-old couldn't understand why she thought white people were smarter and more articulate. The 10-year-old couldn't understand that. Why? Because of subconscious. Subconscious meaning you don't think about it. It is ingrained, conditioned in your brain based off of what you know, what you've learned, what you hear, what you see, and your environment. So subconsciously, the 12-year-old or 13-year-old that's saying, yo, my niggas, he thinks he's saying it because niggas is black. No, he's saying it because that word has been introduced into his mind, internalized it, meaning subconsciously he knows it's inferiority that he's talking about. He's tried to empower himself, but the only reason why that word exists is because of inferiority. So moral of the tale is, I was speaking earlier about a gentleman called Vinicius Jr., a footballer. He basically was racially abused in Spain. The Spanish courts decided to convict the people that racially abused him. He then did a big tweet, millions of views on his tweet. And instead of saying, I am a victim of racism, he said, I am the tormentor of racism. I'm going to say that again. Instead of saying, I am a victim of racism, he said, I am a tormentor of racism or racist. In other words, instead of saying, nigga, yo, nigga, no. Instead, it's, yo, king, yo, black king, yo, black queen, yo, black king. It all depends on how you decide you are going to rationalize things in your brain. And what has happened as black people is we've decided, because again, this is what has been infiltrated by the West. Keep saying the word nigger. You're not that intelligent and you think it's empowering you whilst you sit selling drugs on crack, dying more than black people because white people keep racially abusing you in regards to the police, keep dying in terms of the NHS or in the medical system because racial prejudice has you know, adultification means that they'll treat black women differently to white women. These disparities, these racial disparities all exist, and the West wants us to continue to reinforce that by continuing to say the word nigger. But the reality is, nigger is a subconscious term, it is inferiority, and you say it because that is the only thing that you know. Instead, you could have been an inventive kind of someone who invents, innovative, like someone who's like a thought leader, a progressive person would say, instead of using a word that is disparaging for my people, I'm going to use a word that is empowering for my people, because that's what I'm trying to achieve, empowerment. So therefore, let me call people kings. Kings is hierarchy. Remember, we have a monarchy. For white people, nigger is low. For white people, kings and queens are high. That's just the social dynamic throughout the world. Kings and queens are high. Niggers, paupers, peasants, etc. are low. That has been the dynamic of the world. And so when black people reinforce the word nigger, that may mean something to you, but you are what? I don't even know what 65 million is in terms of black people for America, but you are still a small percentage. So
I'm gonna
for
slice
you,
them
in your
that actually
small
say they
mind,
nigger.
you think that's empowering. For the masses, the people of power in the world, the people that govern the world, you are a dumbass, because that word means inferiority. It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It doesn't matter how many times you start singing it in your song. You will continue to remind the world you are inferior. That is a fact. Why? Because of subconscious versus conscious. Stop saying that kids don't know. They do know. They know it subconsciously. And I'll say one other thing. You spoke about Chinese. Chinese don't use the word chinks. The reason why they don't use the word chinks, just like you said, because we, black people, gave it to them. So why on earth would they use a word that other races gave to them to demolish themselves? The only people that do that are black people. Nigger wasn't given to us, sir. Oh, sorry, we didn't decide the word nigger. White people gave it to us and we took it. Chinese were given the word chink. They didn't take it. Pakistanis were given the word Paki. They didn't take it. Jews were given all sorts of names. They didn't take it. The
We
only
told you.
community that decided to take the name from the oppressor are the black people. The same community that spends millions on weaves. The same community that cares more about trainers than they do voting. The same community that wants to talk about Black Lives Matter whilst killing people, killing their own kind in regards to knife crime, gun violence, and domestic violence. This is what I mean by a lack of intelligence for our community. And the only people that say it are people like Candice. So this is why I find her utterly disgusting and absolutely amazing at the same time. And I'll leave that.
But one more question for you before you go. But to put a bow on that, right? Obviously, now one of you have heard 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old play the games. Madden or motherfucking whatever warfare, whatever the fuck they play, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna hear kids cussing and calling each other nigga, and now one of them is thinking about racist. They just saying it because it's a slang word. It's a word you say to your friend now. It could be a Chinese person. Okay, it could be a Chinese kid talking to a white kid. Literally no black people involved, and they gonna call each other nigga.
Yes. Why do you think that is?
No black people even on the chat line.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
It become a word that kids use now.
Yeah,
that's why it's not even a loaded word no more.
I'm not disputing that, but you cannot. I'm not disputing that. The word has been used, as in we've tried to empower ourselves, but you cannot find empowerment from a word that is still used against us. Think about it logically. Think about actually. Just pause and just genuinely think about it logically. You use the word nigger whilst nigger is used against you. And when it's used against you, it's via the masses and via the population in power. How does that make any sense? You haven't found empowerment. You are reinforcing the same dynamic that still exists. If racism didn't exist, sir, and you decided to call each other niggers, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the fact is, overt racism still exists, and white people call black people niggers. Covert racism still exists, and they don't call us niggers, they just say you're attractive for a black woman. And institutionalized racism exists, they just ensure that you can't make loads of money and become a CEO. So you're still being abused in terms of a nation, still being abused in terms of the word, but yet black people think they're empowered whilst they sell crack and stab one another. Think.
Now, and on top of that, I keep telling y'all, it's not niggers. You throwing me off with that because
people are not thinking that
because
it's just
my grandmother. Hold on. My grandma, who came down here from motherfucking segregation, ran from motherfucking North Carolina, came down here and raised her family, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. She used the word nigga.
Yes,
nigga,
why do you think
she said nigga, please?
That's what she was
nigga,
called.
if you don't get your ass to fuck up.
She was called. That's what she was called.
Hold on. Can I finish?
If she was called queen, she'd be saying, get your queen ass.
Why would we use the word? That's not even a word that you was.
Nigga.
Hold on.
But you know I'm right.
When you say king or queen, that's not even a word that's derogatory or nothing. That's not even nothing that's what's the name. So that's not even a word that you have to rebound on, have to refresh and have to do anything to.
But you're not refreshing the black person who is in poverty, telling them to go and eat their food. You're not refreshing them. You're reminding them that they are a fucking nigger on a plantation and they need to go and do what they need to do. That's what you're doing to their
It's black people and it's niggas, right? Everybody know that. It's two different motherfuckers, period. We all know that. And the word nigga come from, you gotta listen to the motherfucking NWA song, bruh. That's where word nigga come from.
Yes, no, it doesn't. It comes from
gave it a definition.
Racism.
That's where it comes from. You're mixing the words up. Not talking about niggers. We're talking niggas.
It's the same thing.
It is not the average
brain.
It wants you to be, you want it to be the same, but it's literally not.
It's the same thing. Listen, I'm hearing.
I get what you're saying,
you in terms of
but it's not the same. Okay.
It is.
Now,
it is. Subconsciously,
did you ever listen to the NWA Niggas for Life?
Yes, babes. I don't think any black person that is about this life has not heard that tune.
Hold on, slow down. Now, if you listen to that song, it giving you a definition of why they saying nigga. Each verse will tell you why they saying nigga.
I know.
The reason why they call themselves a nigga. The reason why they saying nigga at this point. The reason why they saying themselves, they call themselves a nigga. Each verse will tell you that if you just listen to the song. So the word nigga basically blew off. Hold on. Niggas blew up off of this song, which was already in our culture anyway. I'm telling you now, my grandma was saying.
That's the point. That's
okay, so it was already in our culture. What they did was gave it
a
hold on. So when they made this song, niggas for life, they gave you a definition. They gave you a definition for
slaves for life.
Hold on.
Slaves for life.
Niggers is not the same as this niggas. You gotta get it together, bro. It was a definition
the R and the A and the S. Yes.
In all three verses.
Sure.
Right?
When the white person's sitting there and he's hearing, he's
that's
listening
no problem.
to
I get the white man.
Nigga that.
That's not why we see it.
Thinking niggas, not niggers.
It was enduring to each other. It was not nothing like that. So we didn't give a fuck what white people cared about it anyway. Because it was
that's lack of intelligence.
Right?
Lack of intelligence.
I get that. I get
that. If you was in Africa, you can come with that line. You are in the West.
These are facts, though. These are facts.
You want to repeat the word that's made you small.
You keep saying repeat the word, but I never said niggers yet.
Never.
I never said niggers.
In life. You couldn't pay me.
I never said niggers. You gotta understand it's a difference, okay? It is a difference in the words. It's two different words.
In your little brain, it is, and that's the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. And I will be. I know it's.
Are they two different words? I say nigga or nigger. Are they two different words?
There's a difference. On a global context, there is no difference. You have said the word nigger, which reminds every single person of slavery and the fact that black
that's
people
not even true no more in 2024. That's just not true.
Africa to the Americas and to the Caribbean. That is what the Chinese person thinks. The Chinese person doesn't say.
We'll call each other nigga.
Hey, listen, no, I've got a point.
Call another Chinese person nigga and not a black person in sight. Where'd that come from?
Chinese person.
Why they calling each other nigga?
Music and say that was niggers. Oh, empowerment for black people.
Why do Chinese people call each other niggas?
Let me finish. The white person in Switzerland that hears the rap tune from whoever else.
You don't get it.
Rap artist you want.
You don't get it. He don't get where he's coming from.
Let me finish. They don't sit and say, "Oh, it's niggers."
That's the fact.
Empowerment for black people, the same black people that keep wearing white people's wigs and keep killing people. Oh, they're talking about empowerment, even though they're at the bottom of the hierarchical scale and make no money and are living in poverty and stab and sell crack on the roads of America. Oh yes, niggers, empowerment. The Chinese person isn't thinking that. The Swiss isn't thinking that. The English person isn't
calling each other nigga.
The Nigerian person isn't thinking that. The Australian person isn't
calling each other nigga.
The person from New Zealand isn't thinking that.
And they calling each other nigga.
From South Africa isn't thinking that.
Calling each other nigga though.
From Iceland isn't thinking that.
Iceland calling each other nigga.
Americans who have decided to lead with lack of intelligence and rationalize something that cannot be rationalized, that are thinking that. That's you and America culture. Not the rest of the world. The rest of the world hears nigger. Slave,
if I pull up a live screen right now for Chinese people, I guarantee you gaming.
Inferiority.
Hold on, stop a minute.
Black inferiority, not king, not queen. The rest of the world can get with kings and queens. Europe had kings and queens. Africa had kings and queens. Asia had kings and queens. The only place in the world where niggers existed was slavery. Inferiority.
You hit the nail. You just hit it on the nail.
If you want to repeat that word, you're reminding the rest of the world.
You're not.
Of inferiority.
You hit it on the nose.
You and your brain thinks otherwise.
Wait, would you hit it on the nose?
That is not how the real world works. That is the truth. That is the truth. It's truth. It's the truth.
You just hit on the nose, though. If I pull up a gaming right now, with two Chinese people gaming, are they gonna be calling themselves niggas?
Are they gonna call themselves chinks?
Hold on. Are they gonna call each other nigga?
Yeah, because the reason why they might,
you're right.
I'll answer the question. The reason why they might is because
no black people there though.
No. Can I finish? Let me answer the question. You just asked me a question. I'm going to answer it.
Go ahead.
You just asked me if two Chinese people are playing a game, potentially would they call themselves niggers?
Yeah, they do. Ain't no potential way they do.
Let me finish. I guarantee there are some Chinese people, two white people will call each other niggers. Two Chinese people could call themselves niggers. That I'm not disputing, and I'll give you the reason why. Because black people have decided that that is their new term of coolness.
There's
and
no
so
black
what
people there,
happens,
man.
wait, let me finish. That is what happens in terms of, because black people are so amazing, we lead the way in terms of hip hop, music, food, culture, the list goes on. We are the trendsetters. We know this. We have always known this. We started the world. We know this. We're very exceptional. Okay? So when we decide we're going to empower ourselves and use the word that the white man used to abuse us, well, people just follow, because that's what happens with hierarchy. You know, when you are at the hierarchy, when you're at the top of the list in terms of hierarchy, so you're the most influential in an area, people follow. So what happens is we are, as in, like you said, we were called niggers, slaves, inferior. We tried to empower ourselves. Let me finish. We tried to empower ourselves. We've used that word, but because we have excellent influence in terms of music, food, culture, what happens is we have allowed the rest of the world, which brings me back to Tony's point, we have given license to the rest of the world to say the word nigger. And what I'm trying to say is, unfortunately for you, sir, what you don't realize is when the rest of the world says the word nigger, the two white people playing a game or the two Chinese people playing the game, they're not thinking nigger as in, they might feel like they're leading with I'm following the influence of the
Just
popular
not think about
black
racism.
people. Hold on, let me
The word's
finish.
not
Hold on,
used
let me
like that
finish.
no
They
more.
might think I'm leading with the popular word that comes from the popular culture, which is black people. Consciously, they may be thinking that. And I'm saying you're accurate in thinking that. They will be thinking I'm using a popular word from a popular culture. Correct. Spot on. I'm not disputing that. I'm trying to add to your intelligence, sir. And what I'm trying to say is, yes, you are right. Plus, subconsciously, because of neuroscience, psychology, sociology, facts, cognitive processes of the brain called the subconscious mind, they will automatically, subconsciously think of inferiority, slaves, and less than. So whilst we continue to give our influence to the chinks that are playing games and the white people that are playing games that want to call themselves nigger, yes, we make them feel empowered because they're following our influential, black, talented, amazing selves. Yes, but they are also subconsciously being reminded that they are still playing that game better than the than the slave Negro, because that is what nigger means. So this is what's happening in their brain subconsciously. The Chinese person, the reason why China is colonizing Africa right now, sir, because China has more power than Africa. This is a fact. So yes, the Chinese person can say nigger because he isn't one. He isn't a nigger, so he can say it because he feels cool, and that's all he gets. But he doesn't get the I'm a slave. He doesn't get the I'm the inferior. He doesn't get the institutionalized racism of police trying to kill black people. He doesn't have to contend with that, sir. He can just feel cool playing his game because the black person said, please, we're empowered.
The thing is, we both are right. We both are right, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because all I'm telling you is, the word is not that no more. You're describing what the word is, and I'm telling you that word is not that no more. People in
Tony, all right. So I've tried to address this twice. Tony, Tony, you're going to be the deciding factor. You are going to be the deciding factor. Am I wrong? Who is right and who is wrong? Tell me.
I'm gonna say it like this, and this should break it. This is the way I feel. Niggers, Niggers, were in chains physically. Niggers, Niggaz, are in chains mentally.
That's Tony, I'll just say one thing. May I steal that? If you wouldn't mind just repeating that for us all, so I could potentially say that on national TV in England, because that's like a perfect line. If you wouldn't mind just saying that.
I explain one thing though. That mess your whole thing up is why white people call each other that. With no black people there.
Because you know what? White people want to. You got a group of black white people that came up, especially in this hip hop era. I ain't even gonna say the hip hop era.
I'm not even gonna say the word nigga.
I'm not even gonna say the hip hop era. White people got a thing They don't want to say it. White people want to. It's white people that want to be black so damn bad.
Now they want to be black.
taste
That's why he's saying nigga.
Hmm?
What I'm
They
trying
wanna
to
fit
tell
in.
y'all that
They wanna fit
this
in.
word, that word is not what you think it is no more. White people use it to each other.
No,
Kids
it
use it all
is.
day long,
It's both.
not
It's
thinking
both.
about
like-
racism,
Just
bruh.
like the word.
It's
Just
both.
like
It's
just like the
both.
word wigger. When wigger came out, white nigger.
Oh my God.
It's both.
I say this about the word nigger.
Oh my God.
You can say white kids called each other. White kids would sit down and call each other.
I
nigger.
literally can pull a gamer up on this
I
screen
understand
right
that.
now. Okay, don't do
But
it.
I bet you this
I
much.
guarantee they be
But I
saying
bet
nigga
you this
every
one-
2 seconds.
I bet you this much.
But subconsciously,
They
they're
might
reminded
say-
that you're a nigger. And
they
they're
might
reminded-
say-
They might say it. They might
subconsciously,
say it
they're
on the
reminded
game.
you are a nigger.
They might
and
say it
want
amongst
you to
It's
each
a
other.
slang
They think
word.
they're
That's the
cool.
part
You're
you're not
right.
getting.
You are
If
right.
it's
It's a
You're
slang
right.
word for kids
You're
now. It
right.
don't mean nothing no more.
Look, if
It
it
does,
doesn't
though. What are
mean
you
nothing,
talking about?
if the
racism
word
doesn't
nigger
exist- if
doesn't mean
racism
nothing,
didn't exist-
I will bet
Sorry.
you any amount of money that you want. If it doesn't mean nothing, they won't call each other nigger in front of their parents or their grandparents.
Thank you. That's a good line.
That's not
I
a
can
good
bet you that
excuse.
much.
That's
I
not a
can
good
bet you that
excuse.
much.
Let me tell you why they ain't
I
a good
can bet you
excuse.
that much.
My son won't say it in front of me.
Yes.
Me, so that's not an excuse.
If the word has no bite,
My son and his kids won't say it in front of me, bro.
if the word has no
That's
bite,
it.
I will bet you.
That is
And
it.
we know, and we have seen how white kids talk to their parents.
That's
White
it.
kids talk to their parents and then say shit in front of their parents that black kids won't even think about letting come out their mouth. But I bet you they won't sit down in front of their parents
You
or
ever
their
heard a little
grandparents.
boy play game, bro?
And I'm not
A black boy play game?
I've heard it.
Have you heard him?
I've heard it. I hear
What
all
you
the
talking
time.
about?
All them little gamers I got, all my little nephews and shit, all them gamers.
All right, first of all,
That's
my son is 13.
Yeah, that's all they
And
do.
half the time when I wake up in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
nigga, fuck, bitches all over that joint.
I
So
hear the same
stop
thing
playing
every
with me,
night.
bro.
I hear the same thing every
Where
night.
do you think that comes from?
All I'm saying,
Hold on, stay on point here.
all I'm saying,
Because y'all acting like this word is not just being used anyway.
I'm not saying it's not used.
And you act like these kids are using it in a derogatory way. And they not.
I bet you this much. You will never hear them say that word.
They're not going to
each
cuss
other.
either in front of your parents.
Shit.
Half the shit they say on it, they're not going to say in front of your parents. So that's not a good excuse.
Shit.
They're not going to say half of the shit they say
Shit.
gaming, bro. I don't think you two heard
Man,
a gamer.
white kid. Come on.
Have you heard a gamer?
Yes.
12, 13
Yeah,
year old gamer, bro?
I hear gamers younger than that using
So what we talking
worse
about?
language than that.
So what you talking about, bro?
I hear that shit every night.
All right, then.
I got a gamer that sleeps in the next room. All you hear all night is the same shit.
Would he say that shit to his mother?
Huh?
Ain't no huh?
Yeah, this dumb motherfucker will.
He would not talk like that.
This dumb motherfucker will.
Come on, bro.
I'm saying
That's not
I'm
an excuse.
talking about you talking about white kids.
All right.
White kids.
Whatever they say on that game, no kids will say that in front of their mother.
to bet you.
None of them.
Even in jest, even in playing around, they will not call each other nigga. I bet you it will never come out their mouth before their parents or their grandparents.
No black kids will do
that.
it either.
Fact.
Come on, it's nigga this.
Social etiquette.
So what's the point?
That's why social etiquette. Social etiquette.
No black kids that was running around and his grandmother say nigga either.
Shit.
So what is your point?
Are you crazy?
My son is 13. He don't cuss in front of his grandmother.
Okay.
Let his ass get on the game and everybody sleep.
Every kid ain't your
Let
kid.
him get on the game and everybody
But
sleep.
every kid ain't your kid.
He talking to
That's
somebody
the
else that's
problem.
cussing back at
That's
him,
the
bro.
problem. You
That's
look,
how you and
can't
your
put what
family
your
live.
kid does on
That's what
every
everyone
kid
else.
because every kid is not the same.
All these kids cussing on the game, bro.
I didn't say that.
And they call each other
You
nigga on the
got
game.
kids out here that cuss in front of their parents. You got kids out here that will
Make your
cuss their
mind up.
parents
Make your
out.
mind up. You said they gonna say in front of each other? Or what? What are you gonna do? You said they ain't gonna say in front of their mother. Now they gonna do
just
it. What else
because
they gonna
your son does it, which I give you that.
Exactly.
And you probably raise him in a way that he knows better than to do that. But every kid doesn't do that. Every kid is not like that.
But what I'm
Every
telling you
kid
is
different.
all kids use the word nigga though.
And
they do not. None of them think about it like that, bro.
I don't look.
And you gotta
I
realize
just told
that.
you that because look, they have not been taught on what the meaning of
matter.
that word
Doesn't matter.
What the
They
meaning of
don't
that
use
word
it like
is.
that. They don't think of it like that at all.
Look, if it's done out of
Do we agree on
ignorance,
that?
it doesn't mean anything if it's
Do
done
we
out of
agree on that?
ignorance.
Do we
It's
agree
done
on that?
out of ignorance. They are ignorant of the fact of what that word means.
So, gents,
Wait. Both of you just told me 12-year-old, 13-year-olds know what the word means.
Yeah.
Now you tell me they don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That kids use this word without even thinking of racial anything. They don't think of it like
It can be true at the same time, gents. Let's just remind ourselves. Let's be humans. Let's not be silly here. Let's be human beings. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be happy and sad. You can be excited and a bit annoyed. You can be frustrated and a bit aroused, right? Two things can be true at the same time. You can consciously think that you are empowered and consciously be feeling special because you said a word that is a popular word. You can consciously do that. And in this exact same way, you can subconsciously be promoting something in terms of internalized racism, a reinforcer that you are inferior. Both things can be true. Subconsciously, you are telling your brain you are inferior because that word only has one true definition, because it came from a place. Just like we know how to speak, we know how to speak because it came from a place. Our brain will always remember the original place it came from. So subconsciously, these kids are aware of it. And I'll just say one thing. Type in the Dole test. Forget the school that I mentioned. Remember, I told you about the documentary that I referred to in England, which was called The School That Tried to Eradicate Racism.
Put up a live stream
and that
right
proved, for a primary school, that black kids and white kids were very much conscious of white privilege. They were subconsciously aware, not consciously. The 10-year-old black kid doesn't understand why she wants a white dolly more than a black dolly. She doesn't understand that. I grew up wanting white dollies. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say, Mr. Jones, about these kids aren't saying it in a derogatory way. You're right. No, Tony is saying you're right. I am saying you're right. They're consciously not saying it in a derogatory way. When I was 10 and I was buying a white dolly, my mum said to me, "Here, get the black dolly. Get the black Barbie." I was 10 years old. I went into W.H. Smith's. It's like a typical, I don't know, like what, a Walmart where you have dollies, right, in an aisle section. And I was 10. And my mum brought me to the dolly section, and it was all Barbies. And then you had a stack. About 80% of that, the rows were white Barbies, and there was that little 10 to.
God damn it! Again, shit.
Yeah, we got one.
Every time we get a deep ones. Joint go out, yeah. God damn. Every time. So, hey, but one thing about peace everybody tuning in tonight for sure. You know what I'm saying, dog? Appreciate y'all a whole lot.
Yeah, even Abdul with your ignorant ass.
now Abdul actually typed niggers. He knew the fuck he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He was being racist for real. You know what I'm saying?
Motherfucker.
Now, I did want to ask her a favorite movie before she leave, but it looked like she might be gone. You know what I'm saying? So tonight was a special night. As we got deep into black culture for sure. You know what I'm saying? Me and my man always do every night, but it's good to get into that with somebody that's in another culture. You know what I'm saying, dog? Across the pond where we can put the black minds together and see what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? And look like we have the same issues across the pond and shit here. It looks the same to me, huh, dog? It seems like one thing about black people, they got this sixth sense where most of us do. Some of y'all coons, y'all ain't got this sixth sense. That you can sniff out racism
ain't got no
and smell racism, right? Coons don't have that sixth sense, you know? And we sniff it out. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Got something to say we got here? Hold up. Let's see if she about to pop back up. Go ahead. You had something to say anyway. Go ahead. Go ahead. What we got?
I just want to, I look at it like this. That word has always been a part of our vocabulary. Remember, we didn't speak English.
Long before we was born.
We didn't speak English when we came over here from Africa or wherever. So nigga was really one of the first words we learned.
But you gotta realize it come from Spanish. It was here too. It come from the word black, Negro.
Nigga actually means lazy and shiftless. That's the
Spanish
definition
black
of the word.
That's what they started it off with. Then they turned to nigger.
Nigga means lazy and shiftless. That's basically what it means. And like Richard Pryor say, we got some white niggas too. Because we got some white, lazy, shiftless motherfuckers out here. But I mean, that's one of the first words we learned, along with cotton and bale of hay, nigga. And I wouldn't doubt that in the beginning, when they heard this word, some Africans or slaves probably thought it was a term of endearment, which to some of us today, we feel about the word or think about the word as a term of endearment. Some of us do, some of us don't. You know, it's where you stand on it. I admit I use the word. I try to catch myself.
I don't try to catch myself. I'm a
I
nigga.
try to catch myself.
I am that
nooker. I never.
I'm a nooker for real.
I ain't never be a nigga. I'm gonna be a bad. I'll be a bad motherfucker. I even motherfucker call myself the shit. But I try not to call myself a nigga.
Wouldn't you like to be a nigga too?
You know.
You know.
And I damn sure don't say it around anybody else that ain't of my skin tone, because that's one thing I always
bro. If you look up nigga, it actually says that the word was used as a vulgar to black. You looked it up, huh? You ain't want to say. You ain't want to say it, huh? You didn't want to bring it up. Come on, bro. That's what I tried to tell y'all. And now the word
at the bottom is still
only being used by black people. That's what it actually says in the fucking dictionary. That the word is only being used by African Americans today.
No, it's not. It's used
That's what it's saying in the dictionary, though.
It's not everybody. But I get that.
I've been on. I just told you that.
I've been on the goddamn bus.
I told you
Mexicans, nigga this, nigga that, nigga that.
I just
nigga
told you.
I seen it with white people.
That. I just told y'all white people call each other.
Yeah.
That. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. That word is not what y'all wanted to be no more. Look, and that's what my point I've been trying to tell y'all, bro.
Like I say, I bet you they'll never use that motherfucker in front of their parents. Or they
nobody would say half of the shit they say on game and on outside anywhere in front of their parents, bro. That's not nothing to even say. We know that. But it tells you right here that the word is not even what it is no more. Even put in hip hop music is in the culture.
But
in the diction, in the fucking
Ice Cube, Dre,
if you
and all these motherfuckers don't speak for me and what I feel about the word.
I don't care about that.
So, but that means by the same token, I don't care about what the other side say.
For the word to be what it be, what it mean, what it means.
But it means something else to me. Just like
no more.
Yes, it does.
To you,
to me,
you stuck. You
to me, and a lot of other people.
Y'all stuck.
Well, we think y'all are ignorant.
See, again, that's where the clash at. You can call somebody ignorant because they use a different word than nigger. They using niggas, but they using the word you call them ignorant when they just using it, not thinking about nothing racial. It's all motherfucking that's in the culture now. It's all in the bread now. It's not. It's nothing to get mad about. I gave up on that about 3 years ago. Get mad at
I'm gonna use this word. The word is etymology. That means where that's where a word come from. No matter what you say, we know where the word comes from. No matter if you change an ER to an A,
nah, it's not the same word.
Or whatever, we know the origin of the word.
Origin, cool.
That's what etymology means. That's what etymology is. The origin of a word and what the word means. We know where people who are enlightened on the word knows what the word means. No matter what you can change the spelling, the pronunciation, we know where it comes from. That's just
I didn't even know every word definition was in here though, bro. Hold on, everybody.
Even when you go back to everything in motherfucking in the English language comes from the Greek language.
Hold on. Now this is in the dictionary. I didn't even know this was in here. I just looked down. Everything I've been saying is in the dictionary. It's really telling you everything I just told them to.
Thousands of words every year.
Everything I just told them to is literally in this fucking dictionary. Every word for word what I said. Everything I said.
Yeah.
Hijacked is not even the same word. It's in the hip hop culture. Black people, the most dominant people that use the word today. Yeah. All this is in the fucking. If you look it up, that's what it tell you. Yeah. Everything I was just telling y'all, bro.
If that's what you want to, how you want to carry it, and
ain't no how you carry it. These are facts.
That's what you, how you want to carry it and what you want to believe. But still, it's
dictionary. Who?
Fuck the dictionary. Who writes the
fuck
dictionary?
The dictionary now.
Who writes the dictionary?
You look up stuff in the dictionary, right? You look up shit on Google, right?
Who writes the dictionary?
So if you look up nigga, and they telling you the word is not even being used the same no more.
Who writes the dictionary?
And they tell you in the dictionary itself, this hip hop culture,
the dictionary?
Black people is using it against each other now, talking to each other. It tells you that in the fucking dictionary. Everything I just said to y'all.
Look.
And all I was telling you to is the word is not a weapon no more. It's nothing no more. It's meaningless because people that use it don't even know it's a weapon.
The word is a weapon. Let a white man walk through that door right now.
He knows it's a weapon.
He can say my nigga.
If Donald Trump came in,
what's up, my nigga?
If Donald Trump was to say, nigga, get off my lawn, we know he being racist, right? Right? We know he's not saying, he know he's not using the word nigga in a good way.
If somebody that's not black walked up in here right now and say, what's up, my nigga? You let him get away with it?
Who, me personally? Hell no.
Then the word still got bite. Not me personally, no. The word still got bite then. The word still got bite.
Not me personally, no.
That's right. Then the word got bite.
No.
What I'm saying is if somebody that's not white, not black, comes up in here and you say, what's up, how you doing? He say, what's up, my nigga? You're not letting them get away with that.
No.
Then the word got bite.
No. There's a difference between actually being mad at him and saying, bro, are you serious? Like, you're not going to get mad at him. Really?
Even if you check him, even if you say, hold on.
Are you going to get mad? You're not going to get mad. Tell the truth.
For me, if a motherfucker if a motherfucker that's not black use that word towards me in any capacity.
If you came and say, what's up, my nigga? You going to get mad.
Yup. Yeah. You don't use that word towards me.
You know how wild you look.
You don't use that word towards me.
You never say that to me ever again in your life.
You just don't.
Don't ever play with me.
You two feel that way, but
because if
you two are stuck in time, y'all better know it.
Stuck in time
because the word is meaningless now.
Okay, if you from my
how can it be meaningless? Let's use your word. By white people in a derogatory way. How can it be?
Now, white motherfucker cannot do it.
Then the word has bite. You saying you shouldn't even talk about the word has no meaning. If the word has no meaning, then then Tom Hanks can walk in here and call you a nigga.
If motherfucker Donald Trump came in and say, nigga, get out that chair. We know he's a racist pig and he means you's a fucking nigga.
If the word has no bite. If a motherfucker came in with playing with basketball and want to play a game with you, be like, come on, my nigga, let's play the game. You're not going to take that the same. If the word, don't do that to me, bro. If the word has no bite, as you say, if the word doesn't mean the same anymore,
the same?
He cannot say that word in any capacity, and you won't get mad.
You're not do the same thing, bro.
If it doesn't have any bite, it's still. All I'm saying is it still has. It still has some kick to it.
Do you react?
What?
Do you act the same way?
Anybody outside of
bro, let's play the game.
Anybody outside of my motherfucking race,
don't do it.
Use nigga in any capacity towards me. I'm not having it.
You're not gonna get mad.
I'm not having it.
What's gonna make you get mad though? You're gonna look stupid.
I know the word and I know what the word means.
So everybody in here about the game.
Not having it.
Okay, I get you. If everybody in here about the game right now, hold on, stop for a minute. Everybody in this joint about the game. You got a Chinese brood in here with the black in the fucking college dorm, right? And everybody in there black. They call in there the Chinese friends and white friend to come and play the game. And the Chinese mom was like, come on, my nigga. You gonna jump out and choke him or some dumb shit?
I ain't said
you're gonna look crazy.
I'm gonna check
him. And everybody gonna look at you like, bro, come on, man. You know he don't mean that shit. Let's play the game.
I don't give a fuck. Because
that's what I'm trying to tell you where life is now, bro. You're not
what you accept and what I will accept is two different things.
But you gotta realize
I don't have to realize anything but what I will accept and what I will not accept
but
is somebody outside of my culture calling me that word. Me and you can sit down here together. And for the next 4 hours, it could be nigga this, nigga that, nigga
and you
this,
won't even think nothing about it.
It would not cross my mind.
Thank you.
That would not cross
my mind.
Why not?
Why is not crossing your mind if I call you nigga?
Because we are from the same place of the same mind.
Why you not mad at it? Huh? Why you don't get mad at it?
Because you're not outside of my culture.
But I can call you nigga, right?
If you're not other people, you're not other people that I know uses that word in a derogatory manner.
That don't make.
I know that white people use that word in a derogatory manner. I know that Hispanics use that word in a derogatory manner. I'm not having that.
Spanish, yeah, they really.
I'm not having that. Because once I start,
you just pointed out reasons when you know a motherfucker will be racist.
So what? I'm not letting.
But you're not gonna do that to everybody, bro.
You don't use that word.
It's not like that.
No, you don't use that word. Period.
That's bullshit.
You don't get because
you just told me I can do it. Right? See what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do it when you don't want to hear it at all, you gotta say that for everybody. No, don't stop with me.
No,
why you stop with me then?
Because
you know I'm not being racist, right? I'm not being racist.
Okay, but I don't know if that person
different.
I don't know if that person not being racist or not because you got some jackass.
If he say, "Come on, my nigga, let's play the game,"
I don't know
you're not being racist.
You don't know that
bro.
because you know a motherfucker will slip it in. You know a motherfucker will slip it in. Watch it. I call this motherfucker all kind of niggas.
No,
you don't know what I mean. I don't know what I mean.
It's not you.
Just like when you call a Spanish person amigo, they don't like when you call them migo. What does migo mean? Amigo means friend. But if you say, "What's up, migo?" They do no. Don't call me migo. They say okay. They might say it to themselves. They don't say it. They don't allow you to say it. Just like we say it to each other. But I've heard it.
I never heard that problem.
I've heard it. It is Spanish people that don't like you to call them migo.
Cool. But do you hear everybody running around calling each other migo?
Huh? They probably have.
Right. Do you see two black people?
Because I heard when we worked in Smithfield, I heard the motherfuckers sit there, migo this and migo that, but they will not let nobody else call them migo because they think it's derogatory.
My point is, you can't go nowhere and see white kids calling each other migo. You're not gonna go nowhere and see black kids calling each other migo. But you gonna go there and they gonna call each other my nigga. Yeah, there's two different things. I'm telling you.
Let me say something.
It's two different things. And if Donald Trump, a racist pig, was to call a nigga, we all know what that is.
I'll bang him.
If a little kid was to be online with you and be like, "Hey, my nigga, let's play the game" and all that, you know this motherfucker's not using it that way. I don't know that. Come on, man. You trying to be? Come on, bro.
I don't know that because I don't know his heart.
Now you just being. Come on.
Because I don't know his heart. I don't know his mindset. Come on.
No, you're right.
Come on, bro. They use that word. They don't even think of none of that shit, bro. You can't do that.
That's what you think.
Can't do that. You can't do that.
That's what you want to believe, but you don't know a person's heart.
See, come on, man.
You don't
hear nobody saying "migo," do you?
No.
It's a slang word. Nigga's a slang word at this point.
No, it's not.
Oh my
God. To some people, I'm saying this. To some people, it's a slang.
Anybody listening right now, look up the word niggas. And see what the fuck you read.
To some people,
it's still stuck on what he believes. Now I'm telling y'all, look the word up.
I don't change the way I feel because Ice Cube and Dr. Dre said so.
It's not about Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, bro.
Because them the ones you brought it up and say, listen to NWA, they gave you the
definition.
Go
to the motherfucking song where you get niggas
that song.
Where it's coming from.
Fuck that song.
Okay, man.
This would a song out about anything.
Okay.
And if people go for it, people go for it.
Was the words popular like it was before the song?
I done heard nigga
all
my life.
Was it popular into the song? Nigga, please. No. Right? No. So the song itself blew the word up. So it's made more people want to use the word, put it in hip hop.
And blew white people
the word put the word in hip hop.
And blew white people pockets up too.
And everybody rapping from the 90 on used the word nigga. Mm-hmm. Yes or no? Yes or no? Let's stay.
I gotta use it.
Not y'all feelings. I get y'all feelings. Stay on the facts right now. Look. Yes or no? Now after that song, yes or no? Was the word just out there now? Yes or no? Was it a popular word?
Yeah, it was out there.
It's a popular word. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that point, you're talking about the 90s. We're talking about 2024. That word is in the fabric now. It's not even the meaning of what it was in the 70s and 60s.
Okay, if that's the way.
Can I say something now? Let me say something now. So listen, Mr. Jones, okay, you are completely accurate. Both of you are accurate. And this is what I meant by, I said it earlier. Both things can be true at the same time. You are both accurate. This is why we're kind of stuck, because we're taught that it's either one or the other. No, you are both accurate. I'll put it simply. Let's just say 80% of the world that hear the word niggers and tunes, Tupac, etc., because Black people with their excellent, talented selves have made it popular and empowered themselves and redefined the word. I would say 80% of the world, not UK or America, the world, when they hear the tune in, or sorry, the word in a tune, they don't think slavery, racism, or colonialism. They just think empowerment, Black people, and American culture, and Black people calling Black people niggers because they changed the word. And it's new. It's a word that we can now say because it doesn't have the same connotations. It doesn't have the same weight because Black people have redefined it. So, Mr. Jones, you are accurate. I'm genuinely telling you that I need us to not argue on something that we've already established on. So I just want to make it very, very clear. Mr. Jones, you are accurate. We have empowered ourselves. We have redefined the word, so much so that many people around the world have used the term and don't consciously think about slavery and colonialism when they hear it. They just think about a word that's popular from a popular culture. You are right. Please accept that so we can progress this conversation. So yes, tick, you're right. So let's just say 80%, because that 20% are the real racists that hear the word and almost have an orgasm when they hear it. They're like, yes, my ancestors are still living large. Yes, these Black people are saying the word over and over again. There are genuinely people that get off of the fact that we continue to say it. So let's just say this, that's a small minority of the world, just for argument's sake, right? So a small minority have an orgasm when they hear Black people continuing to use the word that enslaved their ancestors, and reinforces their inferiority with their Black skin and superiority with white skin. There are like 20% of people that really get excited when they hear Tupac and whoever else say the word nigger. And then there's 80%, like you said, the two chinks that are chinks, Chinese. Chinks, the operative, an operative word as in prejudice. Two Chinese, two chinks, two Pakistanis, two Pakis, two white trash, two white people playing games, and they'll call each other nigger because it's the popular word from a popular culture, and consciously they're just thinking status, ego. Remember, because we live in the West and that's about capitalism, and hip hop makes a lot of money. It's really popular. So it's a good word to use because you just feel popular. Consciously, it's just a popular word. So that's 80% of the global population, for argument's sake. 100% of the population subconsciously hear the word and it reinforces inferiority for brown skin, superiority for white skin, when that is coupled by geopolitics, meaning the poorest countries are the Black and brown countries, the most richest countries in the world are white countries, the white countries suppressed, oppressed, exploited, raped, tortured, murdered, and enslaved the Black and brown countries during the 16th century in the transatlantic slave trade. Subconsciously, they remember that they are better. So it's really easy to say someone's really pretty if you think that you're slyly just as pretty as them or prettier. It's really easy to give a compliment to a man and say, yo, brother, you are just amazing. You have so much money. Your partner is absolutely beautiful. Your house is amazing. Everything about you is amazing. It's really easy to do that from one male to another if you are the equivalent or higher. It's easy to do that. And so the two Chinese people find it really easy to say the word nigger because they're not niggers. They're not at the bottom of the scale in terms of Africa. Or China rather, is in terms of geopolitics, makes the most money. Or one of the top 5 richest countries in the world, and they are currently trying to colonize Africa while simultaneously posting videos on TikTok calling Black people niggers and black monkeys, whilst they invest in Africa and say that we love Black people, whilst they build railways and infrastructure in Africa, while simultaneously making money off of TikTok videos. And this is a genuine population thing, as in it's known, like TikTok, they have their separate TikTok. It's
Very true.
factual that they don't look at racism in terms of African people. In fact, there have been many events where overt racism is the norm in China. If you actually go to China and you're dark skinned and a black woman, you might experience overt forms of racism. So you
Yeah.
have that really good
Little
example
brothers in
of the
China.
two Chinese people playing games. They know they are higher subconsciously. So consciously, they're being popular. Nigger, yo, my nigger, yo, my nigger. Subconsciously, they know they're Chinese. And in terms of subconscious, they're not thinking. Remember, subconscious means I don't think. Conscious means I do think. Conscious means I do think. Subconscious means I don't think. Just like anything that you do right now, I have a conscious thing that I want to say subconsciously. I have my feelings, I have my behaviors, I have my hand movements, subconscious, right? We have two brains, conscious and subconscious. So, Mr. Jones, you are correct. Subconsciously, the two Chinese people, the two chinks, the two Pakistanis, the two Pakis, the two black people, the two niggers, the two white trash, the two white people, they're sitting there calling each other niggers because all of them, except for the black people, know they are not niggers. So it's really easy, just like you, if you were rich multimillionaire, it'd be easy for you to give a compliment to another rich multimillionaire because you don't feel inferior subconsciously. Survival, remember, right? Your survival is about making sure that you feel good as a human being. So you're never going to do anything as a human being that makes you feel inferior, smaller, less than. So if you give a compliment to an next man, it's because you feel equivalent. If you say something nice about someone, it's probably because you feel equivalent. If you give a compliment, you say, yo, buddy, your car's nice. You've either worked on yourself really well in terms of integrity, authenticity, and self-esteem, where you can give a compliment to someone in spite of the fact that you don't have what they have. That's the minority. That's not the majority. That's not the rule. It's the exception. The rule is, in order to feel good and survive and be a human being who feels good about themselves, I can only give compliments and do things and say things to people in a positive way if I'm at their equal or above. Because if I'm less than, I wouldn't say it because it's going to make me feel bad, right? I'm not going to say to another black woman, if I have really bad self-esteem and I haven't worked on myself in terms of personal development and growth, I'm not going to say to another black woman, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so beautiful. You're the most prettiest woman I've ever seen in my life. Well, that would be derogatory towards me. And that's not human instincts. I'm not going to be derogatory towards me. So I'm not going to give a compliment to someone because they happen to be better than me. I'm going to give a compliment to someone because I admire them. That means I've got good personal development and growth, or because I feel equal to them or better than. So bringing it back to the two chinks, the two Chinese, the two Pakistani, the two Pakis, the two white trash, or the two white people, or the two black people, which are called niggers. Everyone is calling themselves niggers except for the niggers because they know they are not niggers. They are still higher than. They don't know that consciously, because consciously they're just saying, yo, my nigga, popular, yeah, black people are cool, yeah, they got BBLs, yeah, they're trending, yeah, I feel good because I got cane rows and I'm white, yeah, I feel good because I got tan, yeah, I feel good because I got lip filler, yeah, I feel good because I'm white and I got a BBL and I feel good because I look like the black girl but I'm not black. Hello, subconsciously, the white girl who gets lip filler, does cane rows and gets a BBL and gets the black woman body, she knows she can do all that shit because she ain't black. So subconsciously, she knows she's still better. So let me get your lips. Let me get your ass. And let me say, yo, babes, you look real nice. Ah, oh, your ass is banging. Your hair, you look so good, girl. Look at you, baddie. This is the white girl talking to the black girl. She can give the compliment because she knows on a hierarchical perspective from geopolitics, subconsciously, she is better. Why? Because of history. So when you say stop talking about history, my guy, subconsciously we all think about history. It's a fact. You can't govern your life without history. You go to the doctor. We've seen this on TikTok. You go to the doctor is asking you about your history. You go to a job, they are asking you for your CV, your history. You have come to me today to ask about my history. My guy, everything is history. I'll give you my favorite quote. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is present. That is why it is called a gift. It is all connected, all the same thing. Get with the program. Conscious brain, subconscious brain. Consciously, yes, it's popular. Subconsciously, it reinforces you are a nigger, the slave, the bitch, lower than. I can say it because I know subconsciously I am better. Please watch 2 things. The Dole test. Type into Google the Dole test. It's a psychological test on kids in terms of racial prejudice. And then type in the UK, the school that tried to eradicate racism. And that will give you the facts in regards to everything that I just said.
But one thing I do want to appreciate you. I really love the fact that you came on this joint with special feelings about a lot of things that we all go over. Me and my man go over a lot every night. You know what I'm saying, on this joint, chasing coons around this motherfucking internet.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
That's why when I seen you, I was like, man, I gotta ask her. Come on, bro. We gotta talk to somebody because we don't have no Black Lives Matter. Like I told you earlier, that people that's like you know. So if we had that, maybe we'd have a more better organization here in America. But these motherfuckers stole the money. Half of these people did some shit. What was the motherfucker that stole?
And here,
he took some money or some shit. Took all the bread. Got a big ass house. It's like fuck the Black lives. My life.
Remember capitalism versus morality. Remember?
Yes,
so it
that's what she
starts off in a
said.
good place and then turns into starts off with morality a good place and then turns into capitalism a bad place. Remember, that's what happened. It happened with Black Lives Matter in America, and it also happened here. It started from a good place and then turned into capitalism, agenda, climbing the ladder. Remember, status, ego, right?
Took all that bread too, bro. He was not playing. All that. Black lives, my black life, motherfucker. Oh no, but I'm gonna let you go, right?
That's why.
It was a video I do want to show you before you go, right?
Yeah.
It happened recently. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a motherfucker that was a little girl was graduating from high school, right? You seen this?
Yeah, I seen that.
You saw this? And her father jumped up and broke up the joint because the principal was black. He's about to shake his daughter's hand. He interrupted the whole thing. Did you see this before?
No, I've never seen this.
He literally interrupted the whole ceremony because don't touch her. What's wrong with you, black? Don't you put your hands on my daughter. Fuck the whole thing. I'm gonna play it a little bit so you can understand that.
It was supposed to be a joyful day at this high school graduation, but for one promising graduate, it was anything but a happy occasion.
Elise, Kathleen, Eddie.
Moments after she steps on stage, her dad bum rushes the superintendent, pushing him out of camera view. It's a stunning sight. Look at the anguish on his daughter's face when she realizes it's her father disrupting her big moment and embarrassing her in front of the entire graduating class and parents. You can hear an angry exchange said to be between the two men.
That's my
Where's
man, you better get up off me, man. Get away from me, bro.
And then something stunning was said. I don't want her touching him.
I don't want her touching him.
Anchor and reporter Taj Mahal.
Stop that right there. Lord have mercy, bro. I couldn't be in these type of schools.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that trending.
Oh, you did?
I saw the video, but I heard about it.
What you think?
First example of overt racism.
He couldn't even sit in the chair. He couldn't take it. He was just sort of looking like, don't go. Oh, I can't stop. I gotta stop it.
He represents that 20%. Remember I told you about, let's just say that 80% of people consciously don't think of the word nigger and think of slavery, colonialism, and abuse. But there was that 20% that does and has an orgasm, a hard on as a result. He reminds me of that cohort, that 20%. They hear, that person who will literally, it doesn't care about all the people that they see, or all the people that they're around, or all the people that are seeing them. They're going to jump up and decide they're going to interrupt a whole entire ceremony because of their racial prejudice. That is an overt racist, and that is the person who gets very excited about hearing the word nigger repeated over and over again in our music. That is the truth. So that's a really good example of a conscious person who hears the word, says the word, likes hearing you talk about the word. That's my guy. Yeah. That's the dude I was referring to earlier.
I mean, he actually ran up there and pushed her out the way, make sure she don't touch him at all.
The hell?
That was crazy.
Thank you for showing me that video. I wanted to.
But the whole school was racist because they were doing racist. I mean, squasquas or whatever the fuck that is last year. So you know the whole school got a whole bunch of motherfucking pigs in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know that little girl knew her father was like that, but didn't know he was gonna do that night. She's like, God,
racism, situation dependent. Remember, I said that earlier. Racism is situation dependent. It's always situation dependent. I guarantee he doesn't do that with the average black person that he encounters, but the racism flared up in that moment because it was a very important situation for him. So therefore, the racism reared its ugly head. Racism is situation dependent. That is what we saw with that individual.
It made her day, her graduation day, the worst day ever, almost, bro.
Yeah,
like fucked her day. You see her face? Now she knew her father was a fucking racist pig anyway, but she just didn't know he was gonna come to school and do that.
No, she didn't know that.
I really appreciate you though, a whole lot for taking your time out on this podcast. You don't know how much I appreciate you a whole lot. I need to let everybody know what you got coming up ahead of you, what's going on, how to get in touch with you and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, yeah, please check out my website. So it's imarnayton.com. Find me on Instagram. I'm not into social media even the slightest, but I do use Instagram to post all of my typical kind of news punditry in regards to race relations. So yeah, you can find me on social media. And I am here to make sure that I educate. That's my first and my only priority at this present moment in time. So educating via workshops, educating via mentorship, and educating in regards to anti-racism and personal development. So that's what's happening for me at the moment. So check me out on imarnayton.com. And gentlemen, thank you so much for this conversation. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is why it's gone on for so long, because it's just been so fun. It's been so nice to just be free and have an honest, fun conversation where it's just, it's like a nice, healthy conversation / debate, which allows us both to think, to walk away with things, to question things. It was exactly what I thought it would be. And that's why I came onto your
God damn it.
Oh man, I was gonna tell her. Thank you for coming on here. And hey, spread the word in the UK.
Yeah.
Tell them every Tuesday night we here. And
Jason
coming on and and you can use that quote anytime you want.
You know. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for show from Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you coming from, man. We appreciate y'all a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Please follow my lady there, man, for real. She just, if y'all like us hunting maggots, trust me, she just a pit bull just like me, my man. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't got no muscles just like we don't. You know what I'm saying? We just bite. We bite. Every maggot we bite. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? What's the day?
Yeah.
You might catch it, you might not.
Yeah, you might
but
not.
Definitely a Tuesday night for sure. You know what I'm saying, dog? You might catch it Friday night. You don't know. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see.
But appreciate her for coming through for sure. We can't thank her enough. You know what I'm saying? For sliding through this joint and talking to your boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Holler at your boy Tuesday night.
See ya.
Appreciate. We gonna give a shout out to Ward 7 motherfucking candidates, man. We appreciate y'all. Y'all worked hard. First of all, appreciate the hard work, and you was everywhere, man. I gotta give y'all credit, man. Y'all motherfuckers. I give y'all credit though. Y'all worked y'all bust y'all ass for sure, man. Island and for sure. Y'all got y'all shit together, man. Y'all bust y'all ass, even though y'all ain't win. But me and my man watched y'all go around the city, man. Y'all bust y'all ass.
Dang. Y'all welcome to come back on here anytime.
Evan Island.
And let the people know what y'all up to and what's going on in the future. So the door is always open.
We're gonna have more council members or people running races for sure. We're gonna have more of them on here. We're obviously gonna have more activism here for sure.
For those of y'all who didn't come on here, don't get caught slipping because we're gonna get in that ass.
Yeah, now MAGA hunting.
Talking about politics coming from a view of the streets, you know what I'm saying, dog? We're not coming from professional